It is Saturday morning. Hopefully there will be people joining and we'll be having a chat. I don't have much planned this morning. I'm doing my own thing while off camera. Not talking about, well, I'm live, which I've been doing that the entire time during a 4-hour live, doing my own thing off camera or watching other things. But I don't need to be finding longer videos that I want to clean to, or I want to body double with myself to watch of myself or other people, because I watch a lot of my old content, or did, as there's previous issues to process as new things come about. I'm sure that may shift and change, but I'm keeping myself occupied with whatever floats my boat in the moment. Before this, it was a, why can't I remember the name of it? Inside Edition? Is that the name? Inside Edition, Shocking Stories About Cults was, I guess, one of their amalgamation episodes with a lot of old favorites. Cults that I am very familiar with. Allie reposted, I think this morning. So I think she's awake. She's awake and menacing as she does while sick. We have her story to watch from the other day, because I ended my live to go watch something else and then remembered that we had that, not story. It was a story TikTok. I don't think anyone's keeping an eye on her stories anymore. Like, honestly, Allie, like, I think everyone's collectively done with Allie. Like, it's just like, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to cover all of her racism, transphobia, all of that, because this is the next wave of her particular cult, of her individual belief system that she draws people into, and misunderstands what the crowd is, what the internet is. And so do a lot of other people. That is not as dangerous when you're part of the crowd, the audience, and not being an influencer who can go viral. The drop of the hat. This is only a minute long. The amount of actual racism, like, you know how there's like a nuanced, this isn't nuanced racism. This is like just full on fucking racism. Those people, I don't even know if she uses that language, raising their kids to be violent, talking about Black women raising their Black sons. Because one Black man went on a tirade on social media about a little white boy who blew out blew out the candles on the birthday cake of, I'm going to assume, little Black boy or girl. Actually, I don't know. And this man is the worst I've heard him say. Everyone I've seen cover it, which is Allie's reposts of like Rachel Unclothed and all of the fucking racists, all the racists who think they're doing something being it, and I can't. But this one in particular is like, what Allie says about the left and trans that is accurate to a degree, and not accurate at all because she doesn't understand how a fucking crowd works, is and I've seen the same person do this, so that's where I'm like, it's accurate. When people are trying to be allies to the trans community and also use transness as a slur, like they clock Allie as a man, right? While they're pointing out her transphobia, that kind of thing. It's weird. It's also generally, I have seen it in the same person all the time, because a lot of people have in no fucking way dealt with their own gender, sexuality, any of it that they need to do to not be transphobic, to not have an opinion on other people's gender expression and or sexuality. We're always gonna have an opinion on everything, basically, but like not a really strong, I need my opinion to exist in your life kind of feeling, right? Like I'm living by the laws of the Bible. You need to live by the laws of the Bible. The kind of like haven't actually dug deeper into who and what they are. Just were given religion with their pablum as babies. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Oh, yellow hat racist. To say, right, because one black man got on TikTok and went on a tirade, which you can disagree with, you can agree with, to say it's his mother's fault, it's his race's fault, is the racism. It's like that's it. That's it. There is a group of people who does raise our children to be violent. It's white mothers of white sons and their white entitlement to women's bodies, to black people's emotions and spaces and resources. Like, the more entitled you raise your kid, the more rich you are, the more money means you get to order the staff around, the more violence you have. But the like, I was nice to a black person at one point and now I have fatigue is like a whole other level of like, Allie doesn't do it quite to this degree, but she did repost, so she agrees. So any day now, any day. I didn't actually add. Okay.
100,000. I'm not in the fucking mood today. So I hear that we're being called a dirty palm bitch, a little kid, for blowing candles out on somebody else's cake because he's a white kid.
Right, so we're just going to stop right there because, again, I've only kind of seen the clips of the black man did mention this little
walking like a dog, walking like a dog. You know what? Because that's what you teach your fucking.
That's what you teach your fucking kids. Thanks for the interruption, TikTok. I'm pausing. What was I saying? What was I saying? I have to fucking rewind it.
So I hear that we're being called a dirty palm bitch.
We're being called because he's a white boy, right? No, right? The little boy happened to be white. It was, and honestly, it might be his whiteness that made him obnoxiously
blowing candles out on somebody else's
Would you
because
fucking
he's a
stop?
White kid, and the black.
Look at her entitlement. She can't even shut the fuck up in like the other tab. It's the technology. That it was the obnoxiousness of the little boy, right? Going up and blowing out birthday candles. It was the action of the little boy, and his race happened to be mentioned. No one's going up and beating up little white boys because they might be blowing out birthday candles, right? Even though, honestly, most of them might be blowing out birthday candles. I want to blow birthday candles. I feel right. You know, Allie's just like pushing in there to any child and like, it's my birthday. That all the white women, Rachel and Allie and I don't know if this one's white, being so fucking entitled that they're like, well then, I'm gonna go on a racist rant. Show the internet my racist rant, right? I didn't raise my kid to be violent, but now I'm gonna deconstruct. Maybe save that video of that man going on that tirade. Realize what was in it, what wasn't in it, and what you've abso-fucking-lutely added to his entire race of people, right? That you interact with, who have literally nothing to do with him. Never met that man. Have never watched that video. Less connection than you have to him. And yet, you're raising your children. You recorded this in English and posted it online, where like I found it and understood it as much as I understand English, which is my one and only language. I'm just gonna play through because it's only a minute. We're gonna try.
Black kid, we would walk him like a dog, You know what? Because that's what you teach your fucking kids. You teach your kids to be fucking violent. Then you get up here and the fucking video gets 600,000 views promoting violence to little white kids. And you fucking wonder why people have black fatigue. And you fucking wonder why we've had enough of your ghetto ass fucking bullshit. Black women raise violent black boys. And you have fucking proved it with your video with 600,000 fucking hearts. You have proved it. I'll be damned. I dare your little black son try to dog walk my little white son. I dare you to try that shit. Because we won't fucking put up with it. You think his white parents are just fucking stand there and let that shit happen? Yeah, no. I'm not in the fucking.
Like, I mean, of course she's white, right? Like, of course. I was like, maybe she, no, like a fucking course. And her kids are white. And
so I hear that we're being called a dirty palm
a
bitch,
bitch.
a little kid for blowing.
That unpauses one more fucking time. Specifically that 1 minute video of her being racist and entitled. Okay. Oh, it was Allie's most recent repost of yeah. Was it me? Did I say that? Did she say that? I don't even remember. Okay, what do we have? What do we got? Oh, I'm not even in the right group in Signal. We're gonna do this. Okay. This is gonna be the one and only. The one and only. This is the second. I don't even know what the most recent video is. This will be, well, actually, I don't know. It's the first time. Might not be the one and only time. I'm going to disagree with Amani, and I'm going to assume I'm wrong, but also at the same time, no, the fuck I'm not. ChatGPT is an accommodation. People who have disabilities use AI like we use everything else in our world to the best of our ability. It's going to be an accommodation. If you have a disability and you're using it, it's going to be an accommodation. Anything that's an advancement in communication, writing, for instance, on paper, typing on a screen, have both been seen as technologies that diminish our mental capacity, and they do. When you write a list of something, you don't have to remember it. You don't have to remember it. Our brains have become less able to hold that information over time, over generations, in a single life, possibly. AI, as she says, and I'm assuming she's right, makes us less intelligent. Yet at the same time, she then goes on to say how people who basically have long haul COVID, or that COVID is a mass disabling event that causes people to have respiration problems, which is going to cause fatigue, is going to cause issues. That, like, her very stance proves her against her stance. We disabled people use AI for accommodation. She's like, it's not accommodation because it makes us stupider. No, it's accommodation, both because we need it when we're stupider. And yeah, it might do that. Doesn't mean we're not using it. It puts you at a disadvantage to not use it in the system, puts you at a disadvantage to not use it when it's available in the world. And what she's talking about, I think, is jobs in the economy, is art. And one of the accessible professions happens to be being an artist, right? That you can have disabled people be both like actors and literally anything in art, right? Musicians, painters, sculptors. That's not what she's talking about, though. More like digital art, I'm assuming, which is more accessible. Like sculpting's not super accessible. Playing a big cello, not super accessible. But still, you're finding something that works, right? That you can play music that works within whatever your physical, mental disability is. That, anyway, like AI both freaks people out, and it should. It should. It's like a nuclear weapon anyone can set off in their garage. Like it is humanity stopping technology, and it's already unleashed. It's already here. It already exists. It's already going to destroy our economy and every job. So let's create something that is real, that actually feeds and looks after all of us, especially disabled people, not in the charity down model, disabled porn model. That's the disability porn of like, we're here to inspire you. No, the fuck we're not. We're here to inspire each other, everyone, yes. Not disabled to inspire the ableds. Disabled people truly being able to come alive because we're accommodated, because we have connection and relationship, because we are living at our most optimal health, we're given access to that. Helps. All right. I wanted to share the post. Now that my friends are here, maybe someone will come up and chat for Saturday. And but we're gonna first watch, now that I've given that whole preamble, Amani and me disagree enough that like when I went to go into a store that I frequent yesterday, like I had to bring this up. I was like, do you know who Amani? Anyway, he did not know who Amani is. He might know who Amani is now. And it's like, we do use it as a combination. Anyway, this will be the one and probably only time. Although when I say that, then the universe provides more. So let's see.
Do not mind the very obvious bad eyes. I got 3 hours of sleep last night and I've been trying to sleep off and on for the past like 6 hours. But I've been hearing a lot about ChatGPT and like how it causes cognitive decline in its users. And I've wanted to talk about its advertising as like a disability accommodation for a while now. People who are purporters of ChatGPT are trying to convince the public that generative AI is a disability accommodation, and it's not. It's actually worsening multiple different situations. But the thing I very rarely see talked about is the convergence of ChatGPT, the use of generative AI, and the pandemic. The pandemic is ongoing. It is the largest cause of respiratory illnesses or childhood illnesses in the country right now, even above asthma. But COVID-19 also causes difficulty thinking, cognitive decline, all those things. And so people, particularly non-disabled people or people who didn't know they're disabled, have basically been utilizing ChatGPT as an accommodation, while in my experience, a majority of disabled people have been able to see the detrimental effects it has on our society, particularly when you consider that the arts are some of the most accessible industries for disabled people. And so it's very, very telling to me that the people who are against AI are either unwilling or unable to make that connection because the rise of AI coincides with a mass disabling event many of them themselves also partake in.
I forgot how to come back. Let's see what else. Oh, I know what else.
Do you have a background show that you watch? Not watch, but like.
See, it's just so much less aggravating when StreamYard plays Amani than when it played whoever that other woman was. What else did we got to watch? What was the one that I sent after that? I don't know why I'm laughing. I don't know. I don't know why I'm laughing. Wait, let's X out and just share the other one so I don't have to do the escape thing again. I find this on a lot of different categories. I don't know if categories is the right word. Trying so hard for self-development to improve yourself and then realizing how much other people don't do that. Like, except for the people like Tirza, like Ali, like the narcissists who like make self-help their entire profession and then treat it like it broke you, like it's the problem and not you being in it. The Nexium cult was one of the cults in the Inside Edition one that just came up, and a lot of cults are basically self-improvement cults. They might not be called that, but like people, they find people in their moments of vulnerability, and there's generally different rules for the leaders and very strict rules for everybody else that the leaders aren't following, much like influencers do. They pretend they're one thing to an audience when the camera is there and there's something else behind the screen, for the audience not to understand that and to have all of the ripple effects. I was watching, I think, a YouTube video on Ryan's World, and it had some clickbait title like Ryan's World tanks their views, exploits their younger children, something along those lines, because Ryan is one of the, he was at one point the highest YouTube, the person with the most subscribers. a young boy who unboxed videos, made unboxed videos, did unboxing videos, and big, large egg surprises, became millions and millions. I think they have close to 20 million followers on YouTube. His parents have created an empire around him as a brand. The influencer world meets child celebrity, and the all the brokenness, all the brokenness exasperated on social media. That his parents have made millions and millions of dollars, but they've also created an empire that uses millions and millions of dollars. Like they have a staff of 40 people to put out videos. Their amount of work, they used to be the entire full-time staff for his channel, and they've outsourced that. But they can't outsource his role, even though he's now animated in a lot of them. He's not able to be an individual human whose interests change. His audience's interests have changed. His audience when he was 4 has grown up and no longer have him as an audience, right? There might be new 4-year-olds, but they want new 4-year-olds. They don't want him. And if they do, like his face as a young child on toys, he's a brand. Cartoon children, actual cartoon children that are brands that have a voice generally voiced by an adult, so the adults doesn't change depending on where we find ourselves. The Simpsons, Bluey, on TV, going to be here for many seasons. The animated characters aren't going to grow up. The voice can't change and grow up. However, a Disney cartoon, something that you want to have an actress who is, you know what I mean, who people associate, you cast somebody of that age, and then they do grow up and they get that voice you need someone to mimic that voice. Ryan has twin sisters who are 5 years younger than he is, and according to this YouTube channel, they're utilizing them more and more. Everything I said about Kyle Cease when he was Me Too'd by an Allison, and I could see that he couldn't follow through on his brand slogan of like, let it all fall apart, that'll do you good. That wasn't the brand, but like that's the general message, because he has a bunch of staff, some of whom we'd been sleeping with, who required him, right, and his brand in order to make a paycheck, in order to put food on the table and a roof over their heads. He can't fall apart. He can't let it all collapse in the same way he's telling the individuals to. And Ryan's World's family and many people before have turned a child into an empire. And everyone's like, yeah, that was stupid. They also made millions of dollars, which helped them improve all of their lives. Let's see you turn down millions of dollars. And in the beginning, they may have meant it. They may have meant it in the beginning. When he stops enjoying this is when we stop. But when you're become accustomed to making millions of dollars and spending that and looking like you're spending that, and the difference in on social media of people projecting an air of money, an air of in this case, a child having a bunch of toys that they're never going to play with. They can't play with all of those toys, right? The experience of childhood that has been through the screen has been watching other children unbox things. I don't think anyone, including the people who made the things that they unbox, could predict how much children do enjoy that experience of unboxing. Like a Kinder Surprise egg was like the old equivalent, which, sorry, are illegal in the States, because toy in chocolate egg, illegal in the States. all of the little surprise ones. It used to be stickers when I was a kid, and you'd have to buy a bunch. Like those were popular enough, and I thought they were stupid because you had to buy so many of the sticker packets to get the other ones that I wanted. Like I just like, can I buy a box? Can I save up and spend like $30 on a box that I know are going to have all of them in there? So no, you can't do that. And those boxes don't exist. They do now, a lot of the ones, because they do understand that experience. You can buy the whole case, which has one of all of them, and other ones there's more rare to. You know what I mean? Different collectibles have different experiences. I couldn't have predicted. I think many people couldn't have predicted, including the marketers, that children would enjoy the experience of watching other people unbox, that we would enjoy the experience of watching other people unbox, right? Getting hauls of clothes and opening them. Like we bought clothes and are opening them. And it's like, to some degree, having one person, an influencer, buy a bunch of shit and open it for us, and we all get dopamine. That's one load of shit in the landfill. Right? Not all of us going to buy all of that to get the dopamine to throw it in the landfill. So, like, to some degree, we did. We had cereal. The cereal boxes, I forgot. We had cereal toys and Cracker Jack toys and bubble gums and baseball cards. We also had the Kinder Surprise is something that is, they had the best toys because they were imported from Germany. Because they were like, and then now they're pretty crap. Now, like, you don't put together a Kinder Surprise toy. Those are very rare. Now they're just a little plastic thing, like a mold, right? That they've painted, that kind of thing. Not a little plane that you put together with instructions. Wait, here is, I gave a preamble that made no sense. Here we go.
You guys want to hear a fun fact that absolutely ruined my day? Great. First, we need some context. Have you ever heard of Lawrence Kohlberg's theory on the stages of moral development? Stay with me. Apparently, it is a well-known theory in the field of psychology that posits that there are 3 successive stages of moral development. First stage is called pre-conventional morality, and it centers around the ideas of reward and punishment. So you make your moral decisions based on whether you're going to receive something good or avoid something bad. It's very self-serving and very black and white thinking. We usually associate this stage with children, and according to this theory, by the time you reach adolescence and early adulthood, you should grow out of it and into the second stage. The second stage has more to do with perception and law and order. So you start to make your moral decisions based on how others perceive you, whether or not people think you're a good person, and you become less self-serving. You start to understand that there are other people in the world and that we all need to get along somehow. And you do this by learning the rules of a society, and you follow those rules, and that makes you a good person. The third and final stage is called post-conventional morality. And this is the stage where you start to use critical thinking and abstraction to make your moral decisions. So just because something is the law doesn't necessarily make it right. You start to take lots of other perspectives and context and history and all kinds of other things into play when you're making moral decisions. So now that we're all on the same page, how many people do you think are in each category? Just take a guess. Pause the video for a second and think about it. Because I consider myself quite cynical. And I thought, well, there are certainly adults who never made it out of the first category, but surely the majority of people are probably in that second category, right? The one where your morality is defined by other people's perceptions and a prescribed law and order that was kind of given to you, right? Right? And then I read this. Excuse me, 53%? That can't be right. So I clicked on the cited source in that article, and I was relieved to find out that this was a very small study with a small sample size. So I looked into it further, and I found many more small studies that pretty much confirmed the same percentages. Now I need experts to come tell me if this is true or not, because I'm spiraling. Based on those percentages, you're telling me only 1 in 5 people I meet are using critical thinking abstraction to make moral decisions? And so much more terrifying, 1 in 2 people I meet are still using reward and punishment, black and white thinking to make moral decisions. I mean, I suppose it does explain quite a bit about what's happening right now.
I wonder how many of those people who are in that distribution of like 50% are still at the childhood development, never grow out of it, 1 in 5 at the higher development. How many are in positions of power? How many of our politicians? How many judges? How many police officers? I would imagine almost all police officers are in that childhood one. But judges and politicians, I would say that like more than 50-50. More so than. I would say they're even less accumulated there. And the people voting them in are also very, very black and white. We're having a conversation with my mother before I was a mother, so it was, over a decade ago, about murder and how it, it came out that like the reason she doesn't commit murder is God says not to, right? I'm like, do you really need the Bible to tell you not to murder people? Do you require that? I don't murder people because it's wrong. I didn't, once I stopped being a Christian, be like, now I gotta murder people, right? I gotta break all these 10 commandments. Like, you need the Bible to tell you that? That is then I'm glad the Bible exists. I'm glad we have religion that tells people not to murder if they require a religion to tell them not to murder. But those are the same types of people who, if drawn into a new religion that tells them to murder, will, because they're just listening to a black and white authority, not a, is it right? Who's the other person? What do they believe? No, we're just, okay, cool. Let's see what else. What else I got to watch. Something about LA, probably old. Yeah, I sent myself this one on purpose. Although her entire account, I think, was.
Okay, so I want people who don't live in Los Angeles to hear what you're going through right now. I was just talking to my girlfriend, making plans for later tonight, and she said, oh, by the way, my neighbor got taken today by ICE. My neighbor got taken. He's lived here for 30 years, at least. She was like, at least 30 years. He has 4 grown children. They were all born here. He lives with his wife, who is disabled. She said, I don't know what she's going to do. I literally don't know what his wife is going to do. They took him and they put him on a plane to El Salvador. I can't describe what is happening in this city right now. People, we are trying to raise money to give street vendors so they and their families can stay home. Do you know what that sounds like? Do you remember last year when I went to Amsterdam and went to Anne Frank's apartment and looked at the fucking history of that girl and her family hiding in their apartment? Now we are making families here hide. Children. Our community is being torn apart. The cruelty is staggering. It is not producing anything. It is not helping anything. You're not going to get a fucking job because of what they're doing here. Your life won't improve because of what they're doing here. When people are hiding in their apartments from the federal government, something has gone wrong. If you are a Christian and you are still supporting this, you've lost your mind. Absolute brutality happening in Los Angeles right now. I don't even have a good way to end this. Absolute brutality.
White people suck because we severed our connection to spirituality. It is that fucking simple. But to understand this, you need to realize that spirituality is not just any spiritual belief. It is an innate connection to the rest of the universe. It's an innate connection to nature. A big part of this started in ancient times when the fucking Romans came and wiped out all the indigenous cultures. Then people like the Brits internalized that oppression and then wrought it out across the world again, but this time with guns. This is what happens with unprocessed trauma. You bring it up again and again and again, generation after generation after generation. We, the British, traveled across the world and destroyed indigenous cultures, severing yet more people's connection from genuine spirituality. And in many cases, though thankfully not all, those people then internalized their oppression and began to bring it back out in their own behaviors. This problem needs to be addressed from two directions at once, a sort of pincer movement. Healing from trauma must start with the body. It is stored in your nervous system, not your conscious mind. We must find ways to recreate feelings of safety in our bodies. And at the same time, we must reevaluate the ideological structures that have been built through this generational trauma. The harms that were justified with philosophy and science, the political structures that were designed to keep things from ever changing. The people at the top are afraid. They are cowards. Because for as terrible as they are filled with trauma too. It doesn't justify their behavior by any means, but it's clear to see that people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump were traumatized children from horrible families. And their nervous systems are still desperately seeking some semblance of safety. But unfortunately for the rest of the world, they have an immense power behind them. They have immense wealth. And rather than using it to update their warped perception of reality, they use it to impose that perception of reality upon everyone else.
Elon and Trump are billionaires. They have a ridiculous amount of resources for singular individuals. And what he said is absolutely true, that they're from traumatized families and we're experiencing the exponential power of their trauma, exponential by their billions. They don't have the wealth of this next person, the wealth of the next generation. Actual skill, artisan craftsmanship, and what we can do, what we can actually create together when we allow for an abundant life that isn't reliant on class. And fuck the billionaires.
For me, the secret to filling your life with beautiful little luxuries in your 20s is the barter system. Like, you've got to have friends who do cool shit. I traded a bottle of perfume for this beautiful vase that my friend Noah made. I wear stripes today, so it would match. I'm definitely the perfume friend amongst my friends, and I have all types of friends who do all types of cool shit. Noah made this cool ass vase that I love with my whole heart and might be my new favorite thing in my house. Thing is, like, when you're bartering and trading, like, yeah, it might be material things like cool ass ceramics. Sometimes you're the friend who is really good at getting concert tickets for good prices, or who is great at finding deals on eBay. Everybody has a little thing they can contribute. At this point in our life, none of us are really rolling in it. So all of us have chosen one thing, one little like luxurious, beautiful thing that we can share with others. I love looking around my home and seeing all the little things that I only have in my home because of the special connections I've made with people throughout my life. I think it feels really good.
All right, now on a completely different note, here is Israel, Palestine, Iran, which I don't know if I watched this all.
All right, it's happening. Iran is retaliating against Israel by attacking civilians, whereas Israel.
This is like, do we live in parallel universes? Are we in the same reality? Israel does what with civilians? Israel also has basically no civilians because their entire population is in the IDF or has been in the IDF. They have a military society. And the amount that plays into every aspect of life. Your friends from the military, your connections and networking in the military. Iran, a sovereign nation with some fucked up shit, retaliated against Israel, who's done nothing but bomb its neighbors for quite some time. For quite some time. Maybe you've been asleep since October 7th, 2023? Perhaps? I don't know.
Israel went in just to take out Iran's nukes and top military commanders, which should be the equivalent of Nazi commanders, since their entire intention.
And this is really a problem in Israel. Nazi to them equals anyone against Israel. For any reason. We're the good guys. Let's write in our name. Israel Defense Force. Right, except you're not defending your land because it's not your fucking land. It's other people's land. And even if it was your land, murdering children and having the okay for it come out of your children's mouths is a fucking problem.
Is to kill Jews, something they chant every day. Death to Israel, death to America. These are the world's biggest enemies.
No, do you see how he equated the two, right? That's absolutely, possibly true. The people in charge of Iran, how they got there, whole other story, right? But the people in charge might chant, right? Death to America, death to Israel, even death to Jews every single day. Bombing the country so that they don't maybe someday bomb you when Netanyahu has been lying about the Iranian nuclear capacity for literal decades. Decades. Any day now, they're going to have nukes. What we need to do is nuke them. What we need to do is bomb them. Wait, there are friends. Wait, there are enemies. This is whiplash. So the leaders of Iran might someday have nukes. So the leaders of Israel bombed civilians and military targets. You're not allowed to go in and fucking assassinate people. Israel doesn't get to play by its own international rules, except yes, the fuck it does. Everyone seems to be allowing Israel to commit a fucking genocide and go and assassinate world leaders, and people in other countries have pagers explode, shoot children in the head, do it all on social media. Oopsie!
And when I say world, I mean the West. So if you're not on the side of Israel, you are not on the side of democracy, of freedom. You are on the side of terrorism. And again, you don't need to look any further. Iran is attacking civilians. Israel is attacking weapons. I have so many.
Which is only fucking true in the universe where you're delusional as fuck, and every time Israel blows up children, you're like, good thing they blew up a missile. Good thing those children were military missiles. Any child blown up, by definition, was a part of their military, not a civilian. Whereas Netanyahu, right, gets to like suck on his thumb and be an innocent little baby in a bomb shelter and be like, they attacked me, it's their anti-Semitism.
friends and family in Israel. Obviously, I'm scared for them, especially the ones in Tel Aviv. I don't believe Tel Aviv has ever been directly hit like this. Obviously, the Iron Dome is intercepting most of what's coming Israel.
I don't think we're ever going to get to the video that showcases, but it's very obvious. The Iron Dome is missiles intercepting missiles. In order for that to be effective at defense, even if it was only defense and everyone was attacking Israel and Israel was attacking no one, which is not the reality. It's the reality they sell to their civilian population that doesn't, I mean, they sell to them that they are a civilian population while they're raising their children to join the military. The Iron Dome has to be amongst civilians. Therefore, rockets that are going to launch are amongst civilians, possibly in hospitals and schools, which is what they say about Gaza, what they say about Iran, what Ali Priestley says about all of her victims, and then she does the exact fucking thing every time. That's Israel. To like a disgusting degree, the horrible things they have said about all of the Arab countries around them for generations happens to sadly be true about their nation. Could have possibly just played, but God knows what's going to come out of this genocidal idiot's mouth. Yeah, that's the rhetoric I need to use to cover. Israel has fucking broken me post October 7th. Every time anyone from Israel, not any time, there's gladly, so very fucking gladly been about 10% of videos and 10% that are like, thank God there are people from within who see the horrificness of what Israel is committing, despite all of the propaganda. And at the same time, like, to understand what that truly costs those individuals. An entire society designed around military networking to be like, maybe our military is problematic. Maybe I saw some atrocities while I was in it and or heard about some, or nope, that's not us. We would never. Loudly on social media for the world to see, and friends don't let friends commit genocide. That should be, not keep labeling other people Nazis. Friends should be helping friends figure out their own Nazi-ness. Kill that. Punch yourself, your own inner Nazi in the face. That one was okay.
Way, but the Iron Dome is only about 93%, 95% effective. So there is collateral damage, and missiles have hit Tel Aviv, spots which I am way too familiar with, but can't show you because the IDF is asking not to post the videos of the actual missiles intercepting, the ones that are hitting Tel Aviv and Israel and in general, because they are nervous that the IRG, the Islamic Republic of Iran, is planning to use that footage to better make sure their accuracy hits civilians, hits innocent people. These are as evil as they get. They are the world's.
Aww. Oh, I miss the days. I thought the Islamic Republic of what the fuck in I don't know what the acronym is, in charge of Iran was some of the most evil motherfuckers in charge of a country. Then fucking Yahoo stepped forward. I know what some of the Iranian people think of those leaders and what they pay for thinking that of their leaders, and the beheadings and the executions and the imprisonment. Their citizens aren't on Omegle in classrooms spewing vile filth. Even if their leaders are chanting horrible things on TV, their children aren't saying it. Unlike what I've seen come out of Israel daily, the racism, the taking your children on field trips to watch the mass slaughter of a group of people. Like I have never seen such vile human beings. Like there's no way to, like, you're blind to your own people's atrocities and what has been committed over the last year and a half. Loudly. Eventually people wake up to it. You're on the wrong side of history. You're literally committing a Holocaust.
Number one funder of terrorism. And while everybody on the woke side of history, on Gen Z TikTok experts, have been calling Israel the colonizer for the last at least 2 years, if not more, Iran is 75 times bigger than Israel and is an actual colonizer. They have actually colonized other countries, taken.
Do you know what Netanyahu's own fucking policy is? It basically sounds like Hitler's policy, World War II. I don't know, we'll just invade Poland and invade here and invade here. Iranian supremacy. We just got to murder all the disabled people, murder all the queer people, murder all the Jewish people, Romanians. Oh, Netanyahu's literally wanting Jewish supremacy. Take over Jordan, take over Egypt, take over Gaza. And that's not, like, required in any way for the obvious genocide going on in Gaza. I know. Well, like, do you understand the history of the land Israel exists on? And how many people have conquered that land? Well, groups of people have lived there the entire time. Never has it been a land without a people. For as long as people have written history, chiseled on tablet history, written on cave wall history. So has the border we currently know of as Iran been conquered a few times? Has Israel been conquered a few times? Has Tel Aviv and yep. This whataboutism that Israelis have been allowed for generations to do, of like, but Iran's bigger. Like, it's the Ali Priestley on steroids. Like, it only works so far. You've chucked too many smoothies. You punched your mother too many times. The truth is out of the bag. You can't put it back in. No toothpaste back in the tube. Sorry.
Over massive armies in Yemen, which is how you get the Houthis. They've taken over parts of Lebanon, where they created Hezbollah to be a direct counter to Israel, to kill Jews. It's the Islamic Republic of Iran. The Iranian people are amazing and used to have a beautiful culture and one of the most civilized, progressive cultures and countries in the Middle East. But Islamism, political Islamism, has poisoned that country. It has not only...
Someone hold their fucking hand. You're gonna need to say it to yourself in the mirror about Judaism and Israel. It's been poisoned.
And the Iranian people are amazing and used to have a beautiful culture and one of the most civilized, progressive cultures and countries in the Middle East. But Islamism, political Islamism, has poisoned that country. It has not only been a country that wants to annihilate Jews all around the world and self-declared that, as the Ayatollah constantly says, but they are oppressing their own people, especially the women of that country, which used to be able to wear bikinis back in the 1970s and are now forced to wear burqas or face jail, if not death. These guys are as evil as they come. Israel is preventing another Holocaust because that's what they're.
Israel is not preventing another Holocaust. They are literally committing one while also turning up the anti-Semitism all over the world and the anti-Israelism all over the world. As people who've been interwoven with those two from fucking childhood, from their brisk, oh, Israeli flag is Judaism. No, the fuck it isn't. Zionism is not Judaism. Judaism is not Zionism. And the interweaving of the two broke it all. Congratulations. But fixing it fixes the world. So congratulations.
Intention is. They are the colonizers of the Middle East. They are the number one enemy of most of the Middle East, especially when it comes to the moderate countries, like the ones that are in the Abraham Accords, and even Saudi Arabia and Syria, which are highly considering making peace with Israel so that there can be a progressive movement in the Middle East that leads to peace. So for all the
let me fix it. Let me fix it, right? Richie Riches, the billionaires, no matter what religion they pretend they're from, are for the billionaires. So, however, the people in Saudi Arabia and Iran got in charge, whoever let that happen, enforced that to happen, made that happen, so there could be an enemy for Israel, has created the world stage that we have. Right? We're just gonna let them become progressive. It's their own people. Right? But I fucking can't. When are you gonna let Israel become progressive, right? Like actually progressive. Not just pretend progressive.
The idiots that are now going to hit the streets in America and start attacking Israel because they are just on, brainwash mode to just go, fuck Israel, fuck Israel, fuck Israel.
No, Israel has brainwashed the world over since October 7th for fuck Israel. Because believe me, I was not brainwashed in any way, shape, or form. And who has made me say fuck Israel is all of the Israelis with their little flags spewing the genocide, committing the genocide. For instance, there was a reason. There was a
Hit the
hitting the
streets in America and start attacking Israel because they are just on,
brainwash. Sorry. Since childhood, watching World War II movies. Never again. Never again. You know what forgot to get included with my fucking propaganda? That only meant for Jewish people. That only meant Zionist Israel never again. And they get to murder everyone who might look at them wrong. I forgot to include that in my... So I learned that there's some human rights that you're like, even in war, even in horrible, horrible war, there are laws we've agreed to. So there isn't chaos. And Israel keeps saying, we get to be exempt. We get to murder people. We get to just murder world leaders. We get to. You don't want us to? You're anti-Semitic. I don't know what this is in reference to. Want to come have a chat? Want to come have a chat on video? You're welcome. I shared the 7-7. I shared the link before. I mean, I don't think it'll go well for you, but you're welcome to come up and defend whatever it is you think you're defending.
Wash mode to just go, fuck Israel, fuck Israel, fuck Israel. Fuck you guys. There is actually a serious crisis happening right now in the only democracy in the Middle East. I don't believe we're about to hit World War III because I don't think there will be American troops involved in this. However, the U.S. is protecting Israel in its defense, as well as France, and Jordan is blocking missiles. I believe Saudi Arabia is. This is a good thing that's happening in the world. But, you know, you can't have.
He's literally spinning it so that Israel attacking Iran just, you know, they're just more playing the hero, just more playing the hero. That was my conversation. That's not, damn it. It's not a video I watched. I was gonna go find it in history. Nope, it was live, not recorded.
Have sunshine without some rain. You can't have flowers without rain. I mean, there are dark moments.
Can't have peace without a little bit of genocide. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Moments in history, and when you're on the right side of history, you look back and you know that those dark moments led you to the light. And hopefully this is a start of an entirely new Middle East being formed, where the Ayatollah finally loses its grip on Iran. Its people finally have the freedom to take back their government, form a democracy, and go back to the glory days of Iran, of the Persian people, which were one of the most progressive.
Like, I fucking can't. You're welcome. You're welcome. Like, might the Iranian people use this as yes, maybe, perhaps, that Israel is like, we're the hero. You're welcome. Like, I fucking can't. The Middle East of the world doesn't need more wars. Iran isn't days away from nuclear nukes. Netanyahu is years into being dethroned from his kingship. And we're dealing with his egotistical naked empire and Trump's naked empire. And they're pissing all over you and you're saying, thank you for that shower. It's golden.
Beacons of light in that region, a huge light. So pray for Israel, pray for the Israelis, pray for the Jews, which are being targeted just for being Jewish.
Defend yourself. It is not easy. No, you know who it's nearly impossible to defend yourself against? A made-up boogeyman in your own mind, which is exactly what the Israelis have sold to their children at bedtime. Those scary Palestinians raised their babies to hate us, raising your babies, Israeli babies, to hate Palestinian babies. Who taught Palestinian babies that Israelis were not safe? Israeli soldiers bursting into their houses at 3 a.m., murdering their schoolmates. Like, lived experience. They didn't need propaganda. But the made-up boogeyman, like Ali has a made-up boogeyman of me that got me put in a psych ward for 3 weeks, right? That I would fly to Colorado, climb through a window, and stab her. What I have heard come out of rabbis' mouths is fucking disgusting. The genocidal okay to rape coming out of rabbis' mouths. I wouldn't be shocked necessarily if I'd heard that come out of an imam's mouth because of the anti-Arab sentiment I was raised in. But coming out of a rabbi's mouth? Shocking to me because of my lack of anti-Semitism. But what does it mean when a rabbi okays rape? Again and again.
And fuck radical Islam. This is this is where radical Islam leads. It leads to political Islam. This is what Hamas and their supporters want to turn Europe into, want to turn America into. This is what the Zohan Mandanis, who are running for mayor to take control of large American cities, want to do. They want to villainize Israel, which is doing the world's dirty work by taking out the biggest enemies to America. People like that, the progressives who have joined the other side, have joined the dark side. So please send this to your non-Jewish friends, because God knows too many of them are getting their news from lies and propaganda online, and they are not hearing the truth. The truth is that Israel is saving the world right now. But
Israel is selling to their people and the world. They are saving the world, where they are committing a disgusting atrocity, one similar to the one that was committed against the Jewish people in World War II. A mass annihilation. They're just like, it's not a group of people. We couldn't be mass annihilating people because they're not a group. We say they're not a group, so they're not a group. So then why are you murdering their children? To prove they're not a group. You're on the wrong side of history. You know that because you're okay in the slaughter of children. And yet,
why does it have to happen to us always? Why is it always the Jewish?
Like, this person isn't like, would pass a lie detector if lie detectors were real, would pass a lie detector. Why is it always the Jewish people who are being bombed in Tel Aviv? And yet there are acts of like terror going on around the world against synagogues, against Jewish schools. When it's Israel, the nation state, that is the fucking problem, and how much it's interwoven itself with anti-Semitism and Judaism in its own people and around the world. You can't critique us for murdering children. See the story of David? Are you fucking kidding me? Abraham's gonna come down and fucking slap you.
People, we didn't. Like, why does it have to happen to us always? Why is it always the Jewish people? We didn't do anything. Like, it wasn't us. Like, we really didn't do anything.
Critics of the Jewish state would say you guys started this war by attacking Iran about 48 hours ago.
No. We did not start. No, the Jewish people, Israel doesn't want to ever do a war. The entire world is really against Iran. I don't think anybody wants them to have nuclear weapons. So Israel's doing the job, and then Israel gets all the damage after it.
All the layers of propaganda in 30 seconds. We're doing the Lord's work. We're doing the Lord's work. Also, like, are you?
Netanyahu is not allowing the United States.
Don't know if this is still true, how long this was true for. If it was true, it's from 3 days ago. But this does sound like American hostages Israel is taking. Where have we heard hostages? Where have we heard?
Government to evacuate U.S. citizens from Israel right now. He even got in a shouting match with Mike Huckabee about this. The speculation about the reason why is that Netanyahu wants to pull the United States deeper into the war with Iran. And if anything happens to a U.S. citizen, he thinks it will kind of dredge up our desire to fight Iran. But I actually think it's because he doesn't trust us. He doesn't trust that the United States won't get our citizens back here and then turn on him. I think he understands that Trump doesn't have any real loyalty to anyone, barely himself, that his mind changes on a dime, and that the United States government is currently fairly torn over what's happening right now. So if he can hold on to U.S. citizens, then we are beholden to him. It's almost the exact same situation with the hostages between him and Hamas. He needs hostages in order to negotiate. The cracks between the United States and Israel are starting to show, and I think it's just a matter of time before everything's out on the table.
Do you know where this is? This is in the middle of Tel Aviv. These are Iron Dome launchers in the middle of Tel Aviv, surrounded by residential apartment buildings. Also, the Israeli military's HQ is in the middle of Tel Aviv, surrounded by residential apartment buildings. Tell me again, how many times over the past 20 months have we heard that Hamas is using residential areas as military bases, right? Hospitals, schools, all of that. How they're embedding themselves within the civilian population, using them as human shields. How many times have we heard that? They have been using that shit as an excuse to flatten Gaza this whole time. By their standards, those targets in Tel Aviv are legitimate military targets. You can't have it both ways, right? And if you're watching all of this unfold and you're freaking out and you're going, oh, pray for Israel, but you haven't been praying for Gaza over the past 20 months, you need to ask yourself some serious fucking questions. Why is it that when you see white Israelis being subject to the same shit that Gazans have been subjected to for almost 2 years now, now is the time that you freak out. Now is the time that you start feeling bad. It's just straight up disgusting, and you should feel ashamed of yourselves, honestly.
I would much rather have community than be right. And it's really embarrassing to be wrong. It's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing to admit that you didn't know something. You know what's worse? Sitting on your ivory tower in the hierarchy of whiteness by yourself. That's much worse. You may have a lot of fans, but you got no community. So one of the most important things in this kind of work that I have realized is having the humility to pause when I am wrong. I use divest in one of my videos because I follow a lot of Black women, which is, if you follow me and you're not following a lot of Black women, then you are going to miss something, because there's a limit to the feminism that I can do. And I'm still have a lot to learn, and I'm going to be learning till I die, and I hope you are too. But I kept hearing the word divest, and someone just said in the comments, hey, you know, that you're using that term, but that originated, like, Black women came up with that term. Oh boy, is that embarrassing. You mean I don't know everything? It's really embarrassing. Of course I don't know everything, but it's so embarrassing to make mistakes in front of a large audience. It's hard to admit that you made mistakes in front of a large audience. And then it's also your responsibility if somebody corrects you and then a bunch of white women attack the people who are correcting you. It's your responsibility to delete those comments, not allow a pylon on your page, especially if you're wrong. And the thing is that everything that I expect from men, if they want to be close to me, is what I assume is expected of me as a white woman. Okay. So thankfully, I no longer give men the benefit of the doubt. Now, it's still my default because I was taught that, but I pause and I'm like, wait a second here. So, I mean, sometimes it's not my default, but every once in a while, I'm just, it's still there. Okay. And so what do? I start paying attention more, start questioning, being like, Melanie, does this man who seems so confident about this thing, do you think he really knows what he's talking about? Chances are he doesn't. He usually doesn't. But I still am like, catch myself still believing that this man that I don't even know knows more about something than I do, even if it's literally my job. So it takes a while to undo that. So I have stopped giving men the benefit of the doubt because I'm tired of almost dying. I've almost died too many times. So I learn my lessons hard. I don't learn them easy. I learn them hard, unfortunately. And so the more I learn about patriarchy, the more I understand that all of these oppressive systems, the details may be different, but they all operate the same way. And so, as a white woman, if I go out in the world, I really shouldn't assume that anybody owes me the benefit of the doubt, especially if I'm new to a place. So let's say, for instance, I start an account on a platform and start talking about something, and I don't really know many people here. And people who've been around longer call me out for like saying something that seems that other people have been talking about for a long time. And then I start calling them gremlin, using all kinds of either dog whistles or outright racist things. Somehow, because I'm white, I may still be given the benefit of the doubt. The same way a woman can have all this evidence against a man who raped her, and still no one believes her because we give men the benefit of the doubt. So I'm just saying, please, you don't give me the benefit of the doubt. Okay. I'm just telling you, don't assume I know everything. Please, please let me be wrong. Please let me make mistakes. And please also expect me to like own up to those. Please let me learn. And this is just for white women. I need you to understand our history, okay? I want you to ask yourself, when you see another woman getting taken down, does it feel good? Because I feel like there's something in us because of how we are raised that we just, I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about this anymore. I want you to follow Delusional Influencer, White Woman Whisperer, a lot of Black, Portia Noir, Desiree. But I want to credit the two women who have really helped me unpack a lot of this about the violence of whiteness and how violent white women are. Now, I knew that we historically are violent because of, I come from the South, okay? And I have a history degree, and I focused on that area because I wanted to understand my family, because they won't talk, they won't tell me anything. I want to understand my culture. I want to understand what the hell happened, why everything feels so confusing, and I feel like I'm wearing a straitjacket, and everything is like, there's this violent silence, and there's like these rules that no one talks about, but you know them, right? So I switched to a history major my senior year. So I ended up taking longer because I could not believe how much I don't know. I still don't know much. The more I started to learn about our history, and my whole senior year was about the women's suffrage movement. And it was about just the women's suffrage movement. And then it like literally turned into like, whoa, white supremacy within the women's suffrage movement. All I learned about was that all these women that I thought were like heroes were actually awful to Black women, especially. And that we held everyone back and we sabotaged every movement because we want to be on top. We just got to be on top. We don't want, we are not here for all women. We only want what's good for women as long as we get to be on top. And so until we deal with that, we're not getting anywhere. Which is why I talk about this stuff so much. This is why I care about this stuff so much, is because I historically know that if we're not intersectional, all women suffer, including us, right? But then when I started following how White Woman Whisperer and Delusional Influencer, I have a migraine right now, but I feel like I needed to say something because I've been out of town and dealing with trying to get French nationality, by the way. Just took this test today. Like I am as a very privileged immigrant, getting nationality or just being an immigrant is like another job. And I'm exhausted in this trying to get nationality right now. Just took a test today and I don't think I did well, whatever. So I've missed a lot of the drama, like not even drama, the ridiculousness and the racist stuff that's come out on this app in whatever. If you don't know what I'm talking about, good for you. You missed it, but there's lessons to learn here. But it wasn't until I really consistently started learning from Black women who work with white women and they understand white women so well because they're on the receiving end of our violence. I didn't realize how violent we are towards each other too. We're terrified of each other. And you know what? And like this whiteness, it's so lonely. It's so lonely in that place, right? So if you want to have community and you want to be trusted, you have to deal with the whiteness part. And if anyone is talking about feminism and they're not talking about all these things too, especially if they're a white woman and they're not also dealing with whiteness, they're missing something. I'm telling you, hating men is not going to get us out of it. I know so many awesome men. Some of them are trans, some of them are bi, some of them are gay, and some of them are straight. Would you believe that? And any woman who has who's been traumatized by a pick-me, and all women are pick-me's, we're all on the pick-me spectrum. How can we not be? That's how we learn to survive patriarchy. If you've had a lot of trauma because of a pick-me mom or a pick whatever, it's really hard to hear someone.
Interesting. We're all pick-me's on a spectrum. I'm definitely on the far end of the other spectrum of the don't pick me spectrum. Which makes sense why I created an entire society and culture where we all look after each other. Not men enslaved to look after women. The other way around. Women enslaved to look after men. And let's go with both enslaved in a general that definitely had men catered to, their needs, their wants, their penises more catered to than women and children. Our entire society designed around them. And we got on a tirade. What?
Someone say the simple order survives patriarchy. If you've had a lot of trauma because
In order to survive the patriarchy. She's not wrong. Like, right, we've needed to survive the patriarchy, which means being buddy with a or multiple men, right? Your dad, your
whatever. When you really hard.
I got just down pausing the white women, eh? Just like center them. The algorithm. Listen, TikTok. No. I forgot again what we were saying, so I'm just gonna continue on.
To hear someone say the simple solution is like the problem is men. The problem's in here. Problem's in here. It's men too, but they may never change. I need to change. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be alone in this ivory tower, in this hierarchy that is so violent. I don't want to be alone up there, right? I want community, but the only way I can have community is if I work on this patriarchal conditioning where centering men literally ruins my life and almost took my life multiple times, but also whiteness. That it's so violent, y'all. Please, if you are following me, please follow women who literally their job is dealing with us and our violence. White Woman Whisperer and Delusional Influencer, I am telling you, their content changed my life. White Woman Whisperer has a Patreon. She has a podcast called Hey White Women, Knitting Cult Lady. Delusional Influencer just wrote a fabulous book. My copy I'm about to receive. It is waiting in the United States for me, which I'm preparing to leave for soon, which is another reason why you're not going to see me around much. It's a lot dealing going back to the US right now. Please, if you don't care about these other issues, you are going to be alone.
Oh, damn. I spent decades trying to be right. That's not how we, but what if like we want a really right community? Then we like take the really long, hard journey learning that you can only control yourself. And yeah. I don't suggest going on the long, hard journey. I suggest taking the lessons that other people have learned the hard way. Unless you're like me and you really do need to learn all the lessons yourself. In which case, buckle up. Buckle up. Oh, I've been on a roller coaster. I'm on a roller coaster. I've just strapped in and learned to enjoy the ride. The signs and symbols. One of the people that we just watched, not just, but today, was Lizzie McGuire. Is TikTok. It's Lizzie McGuire, actually, I think is it. It was the one who bartered, got stuff from her and friends. And Lizzie McGuire, I couldn't remember who played her. It's Hilary Duff, who stars in, i.e. the Josh Radnor of the new How I Met Your Mother. But this one's How I Met Your Father. So I still have not watched that entire show. I didn't watch How I Met Your Mother until it was off the air, and then I watched all of it. How I Met Your Father is off the air. It has exactly 2 seasons. I can't watch one episode at a time because I can never keep who's dating who's straight and who is like related to who. 2 of them are brother and sister through adoption. And anyway. That's not signs and symbols. The greater picture. Signs and symbols, The Matrix and Mean Girls, and the more recent saga of the Final Destination movies, which was more for me, more for what it is to be the person who can see, I can't see the future. I categorically cannot see the future, but I can see all of the like little details that lead to probable futures that I would like to not live in, and knew how to fix the world long before It's a sitcom with Hilary Duff, and it has I can't remember her name. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same concept, except I believe in this case the pilot episode has her say like, that was the night I met your father. So she meets the father. We don't know who he is or how that happened, but on the pilot episode, and it never concludes because it only has 2 seasons, and it never continued. But it has, I can't remember her name, Samantha from Sex and the City, that actress. It has her as the Bob Saget, so the grown-up Hilary Duff, whereas Bob Saget is the grown-up Josh Radnor. My sister dated. Like the amount I have lived my life in large part to have stories to tell, like well going through hardship, long before becoming a parent, long before figuring out I was autistic or figuring out I had brain tumors in my head, and becoming disabled from them. There was a point to this. What was I long before that? Don't remember. Someone who could remember things long before that. That was sweeter, simpler times. Oh, do not remember. But the signs and symbols, the emerging of what we only know of as religion, which happens long after the fact. If it happens in the time, I think we call it a cult. Like, it's like, right, that is people experiencing a belief system together. What does that look like? What does it look like when it's new, when it's the Inside Edition episode I was watching right before this? One of the sections was on a documentary on Satanism, and one was on a documentary on a fashion company, both of which I have available and plan on watching today at some point. The one on Satanism was interesting because it is in fact, I'm going to see if I can find the trailer. Well, that makes it helpful. It's up in the other one to remember what it's called. Sorry, I have Adrielle up on. Someone remind me to hail Satan, all right? Because that's the name of it. But first, before I get off the screen, we're just going to go to Adrielle, watch her one from today because I have no idea. But like, I cannot, even the thumbnails are triggering. Like, she did like 8 on eating she bought a burrito, ate it on camera, of course, because heaven forbid, did you even eat if you didn't film yourself and post it online while talking with your mouth full, which is the big part for me. Sorry, he just tries to mute when I cough, but like, she knows it's rage bait. Not only is it rage bait for the internet, it is actually rage bait for me as an individual. The amount of comments and the amount of people that are in all of it. Well, she's like, I know, instead of not posting myself eating horribly, disgustingly, while I'm trying to push the very diet I'm posting online, making it look horrible. Anyway, just all of it. And then Hail Satan, the trailer. I shared, I don't think I started, but come on up and chat if anyone would like to.
The people who cyberbully me are abusive AF. And this is like an example of what they do. They body shame me because I rapidly gained weight due to stress. I have gained stress weight. And they bully me, saying things such as, go buy some clothes that fit you. Go shopping for clothes that fit you. So I go shopping for clothes that fit me on eBay. I'm on a budget, so I'm shopping on eBay for.
I love her take on this because she's like, first of all, you singular person body shamed me, and then told me to buy new clothes. I bought new clothes, and then you singular person, the same singular person. No, some people, right, were like, you need to buy new clothes, and other people were like, maybe don't buy new clothes when you have a GoFundMe out there. People need clothes to wear, and your clothes don't fit you. You need clothes. She then got clothes, opened them on camera, and tried them on right away. Didn't just try them on, because this is part I was like, yeah, I try on clothes in secondhand stores and or new stores regular stores to see if they fit you before buying them, but that's not an option when you buy things online. So you need to know your measurements, which doesn't work for me, which is why I don't shop for clothes online. She didn't wash them. Everyone, there's a rumor she has bed bugs, and they're like, that's how you get bed bugs. And she's like, why are these people shaming me? You want them to not have, again, an opinion. Like, she just films her not cooking, not how to make a meal, just how to eat if you're never taught you any manners. How to do that. She showcases. Well, lying about vegan food, that it's like healthy just by the fact it's vegan. Two burritos. So only she ordered order 2 burritos. If you want 2 burritos, order 2 burritos. How does anyone, like, I don't have a big appetite, so maybe that's it. But like, she ordered 2, ordered 1, ate it, and then ordered a second. Is this what we're seeing in this succession? But the buying clothes, right? Yeah, go ahead, buy clothes that you need to unbox every single thing on camera so it can be a tax write-off, right? That you need to eat everything on camera so it can be a tax write-off. Then she promises her audience that she's going to, I didn't actually put 2 and 2 together, one of the, like, Renee's or someone else did. Don't remember who to credit them. She pushed, right, that she was going to do this workout, this 30-day workout for June, buy the weights from the link in her bio. And then she got the weights and realized she had actually ordered a weight rack and not the weights. Got people to order the treadmill that she had collecting dust for forever and doesn't get up to a run, but a very heavy, brisk walk maybe, and a run for her because she wasn't able to keep up with max speed, right? Like, I wouldn't be either. I wouldn't be able to either. She then does a pre-June 3 days, let's get ready for the 30 days. And then is like, I can't possibly, guys, I can't possibly do a 30-day challenge. I'm a streamer. I have things to do. You mean like stream yourself on the treadmill? You stream for 8 hours a day. Why do you stream yourself cleaning while you're walking around, right? Or sitting there with the dryer going in the room while you're blow drying your hair, eating food, not necessarily cooking it, or maybe you could showcase how to do that. Some of your audience could learn. Like, this isn't what content to make for my audience. This is how do I get more hours recorded online? Because she doesn't know how, like, to be an influencer. Well, she's selling she's an influencer. She's selling that she has money while begging for money, demeaning people who gift her money, their hard-earned money, and all of it. I didn't know it was against the terms of service of GoFundMe, although it does make sense, I guess, from some realm. That you can't do a fundraiser to earn back money that you've spent. It has to be something, although I don't think that's quite accurate because that happens with medical bills and stuff, right? People are like, I had a medical bill, whether they spent it or not. They spent $250,000 on something. In this case, it's Adriel's lawyers that she couldn't possibly send an invoice. That would be client lawyer confidentiality. It has IPs on it. Why would an invoice have IP addresses on it? That's weird. Tens of thousands of dollars on lawyers that she spent out of her savings, not on her credit card, because that would make more sense of why she needs to pay those off. But she's responsible and pays those off every single month. And she has other ways of making money, but then is admitted to lying that she has a job. I mean, you can't believe anything out of this woman's mouth. Well, while she's claiming to be the victim, right? She's being cyber stalked and bullied. There was one of these that we were going to watch. I thought I sent it to myself. It was an Adriel one from, I'm going to go find it. But anyway, we're going to flip through these ones.
Clothes that fit me, I have to go up like 8. Look and sound of being vegan. This is vegan. There's that deja vu. I did it. I got another vegan sub. They're so good.
As somebody who knows a lot of words, but my brain picks the wrong one a lot of the time, do you do that on purpose so that you have people like that? So fucking clearly isn't a sub, right? It's a burrito. Why are you calling it a sub? Is that for the clickbait or is it right like by mistake? I don't think it's by mistake. I think it's rage bait. Like everything this woman does is rage bait, including the eating on I don't know, I think it's earlier because I don't think it's or she's I don't remember what she's bitching about. Probably online bullies. Well, she's like, "Look at my armpit hair." Dude. Oh my god, you're a mammal?
God. So this is a used t-shirt that I got on eBay for like $8. Who here is home on a Friday night, single, so fed up, wondering where to meet people? If that's you, join my YouTube live stream because we're all here chatting and we can relate to.
I realized she probably isn't the one who types in the date. Therefore, it was probably just past midnight her time. So it was, but like, it's Saturday morning and it's June 21st. And this says June 21st. And she's like, it's Friday night. Friday, no, it's Saturday morning if it's past midnight. Sorry. Exactly. Fucking exactly. Way to make vegetables look disgusting, Adriel. Both in the burrito, because I mean, an open burrito just doesn't look good. Like, you know what I mean? It's designed to be eaten, not to be shown on camera, especially for 8 subsequent. I can't.
The struggle. I'm 34 and I'm so done. Join my live if you're single. Who here is home?
From idea to submission, empower students to do their best work with Grammarly's comprehensive AI writing.
You guys even heard what my story was, but if they ask, I'll repeat it again because I don't care. That's totally like a double standard.
Was it recording?
No. I just went live now. It's for like, oh, yeah. I mean, I'll tell it again if they ask, but I had over 1 million TikTok followers and my TikTok got banned and I'm trying to get it back. This was back in February, but I'm just basically starting over on YouTube now and that's where I'm at. But yeah, that was just crazy. Like, okay, I asked if you're single, get over it. You said no, move on. Why do you have to like harass me and make me? He was cute. He was cute until his personality came out. He was just like an average looking guy with like dark facial hair, dark hair. He had brown eyes. Like it wasn't even that deep. It was just like, I'm confident. If I think a guy's cute, I'll be like, oh, are you single? Like it's not that deep. That's what I've learned anyway. Because some guys you can't, like some guys will hit on you and you have to ask them if they're single because they'll be hitting on you and they have a girlfriend. So it's like smart to just be like, hey, are you single? And plus we were like,
sometimes they won't even tell you.
no.
Drunken bar attending Jubilee at like 18, 19, 20, maybe even up to 30. And the drunken like Fritz Fries on Granville Street afterwards. Or, you know, I'm glad there isn't. Actually, that's not true. I kind of wish there was video evidence. I would love to watch it, but I probably wouldn't want to film it live and put it up. Like the amount that the younger generation has to go through youth with social media, whether they're on it or not, their friends are on it, like it exists. Their drunken, their high moments, their stupid fights, all of it documented. Likely. That Adrielle chooses, well, she's claiming to be being body shamed, eat constantly, get drunk on camera, and eat Taco Bell. But it's vegan. It's vegan. It's vegan after we watched her get 2 burritos, right? Someone literally did the calorie count. I don't understand. I don't do calories, but there was a lot. Like 2,000 in the burrito.
I'm bad.
There's like people eat differently. Their noses and mouths work differently. They can't necessarily breathe. She seems to go out of her way to eat while talking with, like, you know what I mean? Like it's not a happens to be happening at the same time. It's like how does someone even say a sentence without their mouth full of food pouring out? How does that even work? I don't know.
Google Pixel 9a is built to withstand spills, dust, and drops. So the only thing to worry about
It's built to withstand Adrielle's food while she's filming. Sometimes the algorithm knows. All right.
Hi, it is. Okay, are we here? Are we live? Hi. Are we live? Okay. Hi, it's Friday night.
All right, so this is like relevant to what I was saying before about Ryan's World and the cartoons and how like a branded child cartoon doesn't age. They generally get a voice that doesn't age because of that. And at the same time, the audience ages. Like Disney understands the biggest Frozen time is like right after Frozen comes out. At the same time, they'll probably be Frozen for generations, Elsa and Anna. But like that's not the same as like the new watching it in theaters, all of the merch release. There's a peak to it. There's a peak to virality. Happens time and time again. Somebody goes viral for whatever reason. They either develop an actual following or they don't. If you don't understand that that is a one-off, right? You got the equivalent is before when you would get a role, you would get discovered and get a role on a TV show or a movie and become a hit sensation overnight. And you may or may not get cast in another one. You might be a one-hit wonder as a musician. The way the rest of the world projects onto that, instead of like, wow, I don't have a hit song, you have a hit song, it's like, wow, you peaked, right? It's like, right, because not everyone has dozens and dozens of amazing songs that are going to be catchy and whatever. Ryan's World, that little boy, I don't know what his actual name is, Ryan, hit the lottery, right? The right children's unboxing at the right time for that audience, that generation, got millions of followers. That isn't sustainable because the audience grows up. Like you don't hold on to the audience. It just doesn't happen. Blue's Clues. I don't know why Blue's Clues. That's like after my time, but probably before a lot about that. Like they don't like Miss Rachel, as popular as she is, probably won't be in a decade what children are watching. Babies might be different. Little tiny 5-month-old babies. Miss Rachel may have hit it. She may have found the demographic that does stick because there's always new 6-month-olds. But that's it. That's your demographic, right? Like 1 to 3. Like that's it. And then but there's always like a new, the Wiggles, Barney, right? Like it doesn't stick. Besides ones like Sesame Street that have honestly continued on with the time. to not understand how influencer culture works while making it your entire career and personality, hitting the lottery, getting tens of thousands of dollars a month, but doing it on rage bait. And that's what we were going to watch was the Ray one, was Ray. Which I want to say Ray Charles is not the person we're watching. That is not the guy whose person pretended was his daughter. And he does the until. No, that's not it. Is it until? Double until. Maybe it is until. Anyway, that guy. He has one on Adrielle, and it's from before. It's from her tiny. Yes, it's good times. That was why. She has a video talking about small towns that I wish I had said myself. I'm remembering. Okay. I'm going to play this while I go find things.
And I have a burrito in my pocket, but instead of eating a burrito, I'm actually going to be eating a vegan sweet roll because I'm in the mood for something sweet, and I already have those vegan nacho fries. Yes, Taco Bell makes vegan nacho fries. If you don't believe me, look at their website. It's literally against the law to say something's vegan that's not. So for all of the haters who are feeding you troll propaganda, don't believe them. Nacho fries are vegan, which is why they sell vegan nacho cheese to go with them. I just don't like nacho cheese. Okay, so I'm Adrielle. It's Friday morning. I just had so much fun. There are all these people like.
All right. So I just wanted to see what her live was at this point. I think I can actually just X out of it. We don't even need to come back to that one. Girl from Casino. Is that the name of the person? Girl from Casino 3. Yes. On TikTok has a flashback video from a year ago. So this was June 2024. Or it's going to say it on the screen if I have it wrong. This is like a month after she brought her son's fight to TikTok. Yep. I don't know if this is worth watching. I remember that. I don't know if it's the one where she's talking about small town. I think it is. Anyway, here.
Well, how was your day yesterday?
A state trooper called me today.
You mean yesterday? The same one that was stalking you that you almost got fired?
Probably not.
Okay, well, it's good to know we're not revisiting that again.
That he has to see my son. He has questions about a criminal investigation that took place over Memorial Day weekend. As you can see, we were in the state of Florida. I'm absolutely terrified.
Now you're Now she's terrified. Were you terrified when this happened?
Everyone is so jealous of my GoFundMe because I am a young, attractive woman.
Okay, roger that. Not even bothered there. Not bothered. But what happened yesterday?
I asked the state trooper, is this involving like a misdemeanor, traffic violation, a felony? They said at this point, we just have to ask some questions because we're investigating a crime that took place over Memorial Day weekend.
Uh-oh.
So I don't have a lawyer with me.
Get a lawyer.
And I am terrified to walk in that door alone.
Get a lawyer.
And so I will be bringing all of you with me.
No, of all the places that she's attempted suing, you think she'd have 27 lawyers on speed dial. What happened when they went to the precinct? Not the barracks. This is not the army. It's the precinct. Book 'em, Dana. What happened?
If they offer you to hold anything, don't touch it.
Someone's been watching Forensic Files.
Are we locked in?
No,
No.
but they're outside the door.
Okay. I'm scared. I'm getting claustrophobic.
Get an attorney.
I'm in an interview room.
Yeah, that's
I
bad.
feel like I'm in a Netflix documentary. right
No,
now.
you're in an interview room.
This is actually insane.
I found the one because there's one she just posted on her YouTube, like in the last week, talking about the small town, being in a small town, and the cost of that when you're an influencer, paired with the Ray, if I can remember that man's name, and an Adriel video when I find that one. But I'm gonna find those ones while we watch this one again. She brought her son's. She's still the victim of this. Still, a year later, this was not she did this stupid thing and destroyed her life. The internet did this stupid thing to her. Made her post her son's fight while it was going on, while she was looking for him. Made her go and dox children with their full names and faces, claiming they jumped her son. Made her, right? Made her do this. Live stream the
Not really. Surprised you weren't there before.
Yes, Destiny.
Get off the live stream and call an attorney.
Okay, Chrissy. But we're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm an hour and 10 minutes away. I'm in Bradford. Bradford, Pennsylvania.
Because you're terrified for your life.
Pennsylvania.
Got it. So the live stream cuts in and out. You know why? Because she's in a holding room. You know what holding rooms are made out of? Concrete. You think they're going to give them the Wi-Fi? No, they're not. No. But then she realizes, she pans up after someone in the chat says, they're probably recording you. There's a giant sign on the wall that says, you can and are being recorded. Because New York is a two-party state, just like California. You have to tell people they are being recorded. Did she ask permission? No. She's creating crimes inside, within the police station. For God, make it stop. Oh, there it is.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh, I feel like I'm getting a panic attack from the bright lights. I'm going to get a migraine.
Yeah, they're not going to
I feel like I'm going to puke.
A cold cell will help that migraine.
I get panic attacks. I don't want to get a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
I faint when I get panic attacks. And there's bright lights.
Don't worry, they got EMTs.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Sven, shut the music off. I feel like I'm going to pass out.
Why is Sven
I
playing
can't take it
music when he's being interrogated? What is wrong with this picture?
I'm getting goosebumps.
Oh, Lord.
I'm scared.
You should be. Get an attorney.
I don't know what's going on, and I'm freaked out.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Possibly.
Oh, yeah. When I had students, I used to squeeze my fists and lock my elbows. Like the lights make me feel like I'm going to pass out.
Let's not talk about the students. No. Let me sum it up for you. So the cop comes in and he starts asking, he read them their rights. And she says, can't I just answer the questions for him? And he says, no.
I did not know because I did Adriel. The first time I covered this woman, I didn't cover her at all. It was Josh in the thumbnail on the community tab on this channel, right? Whatever day that was, it's my first encounter with Adriel, and then say whatever. I had no effing clue. Why did Cooper Film not cover? Maybe they did cover it. It didn't register. She live streamed the police investigation with her son. They read him their rights and she didn't turn off the camera. That wasn't like oh, this shouldn't be happening. Yeah, no, okay. Let's what in the opposite of a lawyer's advice did, like, an anti-lawyer Did you get anti-lawyer advice? How to fuck over your son legally? 101.
She said, well, he's a minor. Why can't I answer the questions for him? And he's like, because I am interrogating him. That's why. Get an attorney. So now are you ready for a good old-fashioned dirty delete where she sums it up? Here you go. You're welcome.
You could be sitting in your house, happy, getting ready to dance and listen to music, and then shoo, the police call you from another state. While you're sitting in New York, the Pennsylvania police might call you and say, hey, we have some questions for your son. Can we set up a time to talk to him?
What?
And obviously me, I just like getting things out of the way as soon as possible. Next thing you know, you're in a room with two adults who have guns on their waist. That's scary. I'm scared of guns. They're scary.
You should be
Like,
more scared of the
seriously,
other crimes.
I know this country is like obsessed with guns and they're like,
I love it because it was the fluorescent lights that she was scared of, right? As someone who's like triggered by fluorescent lights, like I hear ya, and like at the same time, it wasn't, oh my God, guns, police officers, right? It was like, they better turn off the music.
brainwashed, but take a step back and think rationally here. Why the heck do adults need to sit in a room and have guns? Like, why?
That's their job.
Scary. I
That's
didn't
like
feel
asking the
safe
Pope to
in
take
the
his
room
rosary
because
off.
They had guns.
Get out of here.
Period. For that reason alone. Guns exist for one reason. And I think we all know what that is.
No wonder she deleted all that. It was all nonsense. Anyways, so they read him their rights. And she's like, I'm not answering these questions. And he's like, okay. So we're just going to get the answers then from the other people that we interrogated. And I wouldn't be surprised if a judge ordered him to answer. And then she has no say being there or not. Just going to get wild. More wild. Like actual wildness. Woo! Well, how was your...
We pretty much take it all.
Ray William Johnson, whose YouTube anniversary is Allie's birthday. And here is his video from November 21st, 2023. Therefore, I believe it happened May 2nd or 3rd. I don't remember which date. The Sven's fight that she broadcast and did all the stupid things with. This is months previous to this. Covered. I didn't even know necessarily that he covered her. I found this out from her channel. In fact, I think it might be from the one we're going to watch after, where she's talking about small towns. Listen to how many businesses this woman covers in her small town. This isn't jealousy. Mean girl Regina George, they're just so jealous of her influencer status. This is like, right, this is obnoxious in a big city to do to businesses, let alone in a small town. And then Allie in Erie, Colorado, and the fact that she can't be in any of the businesses.
Named Vegan Riz. And one day, the worst thing ever happens to her. She's in her favorite coffee shop, and she films there all the time. And the owners of that shop, these guys, they see this, and they approach her, and they tell her to stop filming. They don't want her filming there anymore. They don't want their business to be in the background of her TikToks. Now, she doesn't need to leave. She just can't film. And poor Vegan Riz, she does not take it well. So she leaves and she gets in her car and she immediately makes a TikTok.
You're not going to believe what just happened.
Now, most people would probably let it go after that. Oh, but not Vegan Riz. She goes home and makes another one.
Today, they lost one customer and made an enemy out of me.
Then she makes another one and another one and another one.
And another one.
And in like a day, she made over 40 TikToks about this incident. She's calling out the shop by name. She's calling out the owners, showing their picture. And the coffee shop has a TikTok account and she's trying to stitch them.
Oh, I'd stitch them, but they either blocked me or deleted their TikTok profile.
Then she films herself trying to call them.
They're not available right now. We'll have to get back to you.
But she can't get through. Now, coffee shop, they make no official response at all. But Vegan Riz is still upset they asked her not to film. So what's she going to do now?
I'm going to file a lawsuit.
So she calls an attorney.
I have a question about my legal standing.
But they don't answer and she's got to leave a message. Now, what does she plan on suing the coffee shop over? discrimination.
Since I am an attractive woman, it bothers you. And that's sexism.
And Vegan Riz is not playing around.
Because I'm a young, attractive female. Just because I'm a young, attractive female, it drives them crazy.
Here's the thing, though. This isn't Vegan Riz's first rodeo. In fact, she's beefed with quite a few businesses in that area before.
After this experience, bad review, bad customer service. So girls who work at my local TJ Maxx don't like me.
In fact, she's allegedly had so much drama with local stores, people in her town see her out in public and they call her out on it.
I think it's run. There we go.
And this confrontation was shot months before the coffee shop beef. So this has been going on a while. Now, eventually, the discrimination attorney calls her back, but they have bad news. They want a $500 retainer fee. And Vegan Riz doesn't want to pay that, so she calls her mom to complain. Her mom tells her that since it's a discrimination case, she can contact the Human Rights Division in Buffalo.
And then when I contact them, I can meet with them without having to pay a retainer fee.
Now, as of right now, there's no word on whether or not she got a hold of them or if this massive human rights case is actually going to take place, but she's still super upset and she's still making videos like green screening herself dancing in the coffee shop, and she still definitely believes she has a case.
People think they're above the Constitution.
And all this happened in Jamestown, New York, so shout out to New York.
So I was wrong when I said that it was June 20th from Girl from Casino. It was June 19th, and so is this video that Adriel posted. I will link it in the description.
And it made these.
So she is giving advice on being an influencer in a small town, which is just made so much better by the prequel, Ray William Johnson, covering her and her drama in her small town. But her take on it 2 days ago. Well, she's trying to be an influencer, but how is she trying to be an influencer? By not walking on the treadmill. She doesn't have time for that. She doesn't have time for that. Even if you bought all the equipment and you're ready to work out with her, she doesn't have time for that. She's a live streamer and a mom whose kids are in school. They are about to be out for the summer. She made a game the other day when she was going to be walking on the treadmill. I don't know what it was. It was like I think it was, she is stolen from one of the guys she streams with, the idea of like, gift me and I'll answer a question. Why she didn't steal that earlier, I don't know. But it was something else with the, oh, it was if you gifted over 1,000, she would run. I don't even think she said for how long. I feel like 30 seconds would have been the perfect amount. I don't know how much 1,000 coins is, how much money that is, whether it's $1, whether it's $20, no idea. But anyway, that she was like, but if I get tired, then I won't do it. Anyway, that would like, that's something she could actually engage her audience with. She's also like, but I'll be listening to music and won't be listening to the comments and won't be like, she's not actually taking into account how to make content for her audience. She's just demanding of her audience that she be an influencer. Shop from her, she's begging and also trying to sell a lifestyle of like, I'm better than you. It's weird and brain breaking and ear breaking with the chewing. But this one's got no chewing, so yay.
You blow up on social media and you're living in a small town, the people in your small town are going to get jealous of you. A lot of you might have seen me because other creators were reacting to events that were happening to me when I was living in my small town. And if you've been following me long enough, you've noticed all of those problems went away when I left my small hometown. Didn't have ridiculous people approaching me in public, asking me, are you recording? Or are you putting me on TikTok? Or I don't want you coming here anymore making videos. If you want to come here, you're not allowed to make videos. Like, ultimately, my personality is just too big for the small hometown that I was living in. And it's funny because I left my hometown for 7 years, 8 years, something like that. It wasn't until my ex and I broke up, I decided to move back to my hometown and be close to my family again. And that's when I endeavored in social media for work, putting my daily life out there, vlogging, sharing my experiences. When I'd be in public, the same places I used to go to would treat me differently just because of the fact alone I had notoriety. I was popular on social media and very successful at it.
you imagine being a successful influencer? Somebody who has an Instagram following or a TikTok following, and people believe your influence. So when you say to shop at a coffee shop, people go there. You're worth the coffee shop investing in and having you record there and having you inconvenience the customers, probably. They don't know that until you like continually do that, or they see the customers come in, right? The amount influencers have been obnoxious out in the world with artists, with businesses, and been like, I'm going to pay an influence. That's not credit, right? You like need to have the influence, and then you approach brands. It's completely different than just the entitlement that influencers walk around in life with. Her going into businesses, no clue the impact she's having on the other customer or the business itself, just the entitlement of like, I want to film where I want to film. I want to make the content I want to make. It's not about like, she wasn't making content for the coffee shop in any way, shape, or form. And they're like, right, we don't want you filming here. And she's like, this is discrimination because I'm young and pretty. Someone gets a human rights lawyer. That's literally what we saw unfold.
These small town women predominantly seethe. No drinking. This person tried to ostracize me, saying, don't take up a seat at the bar for just a water, when I very well would have given a tip or.
Also so much fun because one, if you're in a small town, they know, right? They know who tips well when drinking a water, and it ain't you, Adriel, and I don't just mean your type. I mean, literally, they know Adriel Sigler's been here before. She only drinks water. No, you're right. How dare they ask me not to sit at the bar? Top prime real estate while ordering a free drink. Not even like an orange juice or pop or right, like a water. I was gonna tip. Huge. That's why you bought a bottled water, right? Or something else. Not it, and I can't.
Bought something anyway for conversation to tell me that I need to go sit at a table alone and not take up a seat at the bar. Okay, this is like small town America. You're not Soho.
I'm so right. It's small town America. Who also live on tips. Like the amount she never ever puts herself in the other person's shoes. Right. That waitress or bartender, right, works mostly on tips. You're not going to tip anything. You're not even buying anything for the business that employs them. For everyone's benefit, don't take up the prime real estate, right? Well, you're recording and a liability that's only going to badmouth the business, not help them and bring in more business. Just so we know, we're not watching Ray badmouth her. We're watching her talk about being an influencer in a small town. And her go-to was that they wouldn't let her film live in the bar or film a video in the bar. They didn't want her sitting there not drinking alcoholic beverages. And she thinks she's the hero and or victim of that story. I don't know which one she's supposed to be, but neither?
New York City with a wait list line of people outside lining up the block, or in a nightclub charging $400 entry fees. That's not happening. And it makes people jealous when you're living in a small town. So if you ever start doing social media and you're doing it from your hometown, especially like a small town, be aware they're gonna hate on you. When you move, they'll still hate on you from a distance. They'll make fake accounts, stalk you, try to smear your name and reputation on the internet. Let's just talk about the coffee shop incident. Remember that? That went viral. Ray William Johnson covered a snippet of it. It was happy, spreading positive vibes, and it made these small-minded, boring people who don't stand out jealous. I saw the way that person was. I saw it from a distance. I could see the way they micromanaged all that BS. I mean, in the coffee shop's defense, a lot of people knew I had already had a hate mob forming against me, and a lot of people knew that I was going there, and they were emailing the coffee shop saying lies. Come on. And it was pure jealousy, envy. Funniest part is that because of my clout, that coffee shop ended up getting 25,000 TikTok followers.
Introducing
Adriel proving she's an anti-influencer before it's a thing. Because of my clout and me attacking them, they got 20,000 TikTok followers. Most of whom are going to probably be local to her, right? They're going to be people that go in and buy a latte, which is what they need to actually make money and pay people's rent and food, right? People who aren't shaking their butt. Like, she still thinks she's 18. It's like, Ryan's parents forgot to realize he was going to grow up and he wasn't going to be the star forever. The fact he had over 1 million followers at any point was lucky, and all of that money should have been saved in the family. What's the word? The amount of money you spend every month. Probably the living expenses shouldn't have skyrocketed like they probably did. Creating this as what they pretended they were selling to the media, right? If he ever wants to leave this is him. He wants to do this, right? So tomorrow, if he decides he wants to go play soccer with his friends all day, every day, and never record again, what are you going to do? That wouldn't happen. Can't happen. Our family relies on. Exactly. Fucking exactly. What if he wants to record soccer content tomorrow? Just soccer content. He can't, because he has a following and a brand and brand deals, and he's not allowed to follow his own interests. Adriel got big on rage bait. Rage bait, by definition, is a flash pan celebrityness. And yet her therefore I'm going to build a platform. This is my career. You don't understand that influencer's a career. It's a new upcoming career. Where does your money come from? Where does it actually come from? Who's earning it? What are you giving them for that money? Anti-ASMR, anti-influence. She earns money for the hate battlers on the other side, and she's upset by that. People who are willing to battle her, willing to get those hate gifts. She's like, you owe me. You're still rage baiting. 8 videos on a burrito. Why are you calling me fat? Those are 2 different things. It's like her body shaming everyone and the disgusting eating with your mouth open, talking with your mouth open, and eating. You have to talk with your mouth open. Talk with your mouth full and eating with your mouth open.
Talent with videography. I have a talent with public speaking. I have a talent at.
Do you? Do you? I don't think you do. Allie also doesn't seem to have a talent. Like, I wouldn't be like, someone put this person in front of an audience. Wow, is she good at this? But like, I can see the outcome of her going viral a lot. Part of that's paid for sure. We can see with the clicks and views, but like, it's not 100% that. There are people who believe her and are drawn into her story and her nervous system. And Adriel, I have seen her tell a story and she's talented at it, but that's not her content. And when she does do that, she's generally co-opting someone else's story. She's telling it in the moment with no understanding of the repercussions for her own children, for herself, let alone if it's a third party she's telling a story about, like her friend who murdered his father that we covered on this channel. There's only so many of those stories, right? She can't make a career off of those stories. She only has so many of those people in her life. Telling her own stories brings in all of her lies, all of her problems with not standing on truth. but she's like really bad at social media content. She's good at rage bait. That's it. And rage bait gets a very specific audience that she doesn't want to cultivate. Well, she's showing off her armpit hair and being like, comment on my armpit hair. It's like, who the fuck cares?
Presenting myself to the world authentically as me. I'm a genuine article. People, they know their calling when it's right in front of them. It finally clicks. And I really thought
Okay, so I've had to explain this to children. Let me try. Okay, so your calling can't depend on like audiences of people, right? If your calling is to be Taylor Swift, no, the fuck it's not. Your calling might be to be a singer, might be to be an entertainer. Then you're entertaining two people if they're the ones in front of you. You're entertaining your best friend, right? That's a very different than like, I'm going to be the center of attention. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the center of attention. It's just not a career choice. I'm going to be a gold medal athlete. Cool. That requires everyone else to be worse than you are. That's not your goal. Now, if you want to be the best ski jumper you can be, that's a different goal than winning the Olympics. And it doesn't mean no one's going to win unless they have that as a goal. It doesn't mean don't have winning the Olympics as the goal. But if it's like, I found my calling, I'm going to be Taylor Swift. Are you good at playing a guitar? Can you write a fucking song? Do people like you? Taylor Swift is a brand. She can't wake up tomorrow and play soccer. Like, luckily she built her life on something she loves to do. Adrielle is like, I love being the center of it. I love people giving me money when I beg on battles. What are you contributing? What are you giving to the world? I'm great at making content. I live stream 12 hours a day. I am good at live streaming 4 hours. I'm really good at Jubilee. Because it's, by definition, what I'm doing, right? I'm not being an influencer. I'm not trying to do something other people have done before. That's why I know I'm rocking at it. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
my calling was teaching. Even though I had my days, I really felt something special with teaching. It boils down to it doesn't pay enough. I chose to explore new talents, and part of growing was getting the fuck out of my hometown, period, point blank. I didn't want to right there in that moment. I had already paid off my rent 5 months in advance. I didn't plan to, because I had just spent $17,000 the month before an emergency happened and we had no choice but to move. I learned that through all of those changes and through all of those jealous, angry, toxic people, I can't tell you how many times random strangers in my hometown would just start shouting and yelling at me for BS. People, when you point out the fact that they're jealous, they don't like it. It makes them very uncomfortable and they question of what? I say they're jealous of my popularity. They don't think I deserve it because they think they deserve it. Every time someone sees another person who has something that they don't have popularity. They were dead.
Just pause it. You were dead. What did you just say? I came back, walked back to the computer to say it. So that's
very uncomfortable, and they question of what? I say they're jealous of my popularity.
Jealous of her, right? That like what Ali says about me and everyone, right? Or like this is what the narcissist does. This is like, you're just using me for clout. It's like, where's the clout? And who is using what? What clout do you think you bring? That was not. They're jealous about the in person in a small town. You're just jealous. No, we just really don't want to be on your TikTok. We want nothing but the success for you, just not at our expense. They're just jealous. They just can't even hear that's how jealous they are. They're just green with envy. No, they just don't want to be on your TikTok. Don't want to come across in a bad light or a good light or any light at all. They don't want to be there. But the influencer who projects their need for attention onto their audience without seeing them as an actual human being is a problem.
They don't think I deserve it because they think they deserve it. Every time someone sees another person who has something that they don't have popularity. They were dead, okay? I remember going in there on a daily basis. I was always one of two customers. Never got busy. It wasn't popular. The funny thing is that I brought really good attention to that place. I promoted their food. I promoted their coffee. I brought my kids there. Even at one point in time, told me, yeah, take a video of all the cookies and pastries we make through the baristas. It wasn't until the jealous owner started picking up on this. I'm jealous. Following count alone was 10 times that.
The jealous owner. So the workers who make minimum wage probably were like, yeah, take pictures of the cookies and promote this. What a great idea. The owner who makes the actual money, the profit on those cookies and beverages, thought you were more of a negative to the business than a positive. Again, this is your video claiming this about these people, right? I was just there selling their cookies for them. Then they probably wouldn't have asked you not to film, right? Those are very different. Going in and showcasing, here's my day, happens to showcase a coffee shop versus filming nonstop content, right? 8 different videos of you dancing in an empty cafe. Eating a burrito with it coming out of your mouth. I cannot express how much brands ask this person not to represent them, right? She is a negative influencer for that vegan mascara that she wears. She looks like she pasted some spiders to her eyes. But she needs to showcase putting the mascara looks like it's 5 years old, and I've watched her open them new. Is that just e.l.f. mascara, or is it Adrielle's e.l.f. mascara?
11 times. I had over 1 million followers. Live streams got 10 million views a month. My video views had 50 million to 100 million views per month. The attention is on you. They want it on them. I know this because I've been jealous of people on the internet before. I remember this.
See, if you were doing it right, the attention would have been, right? Not on the owner, but on their business. And you would have been being paid for it, right? All winning. The business gets clientele who trust you to tell them where to buy their cookies and coffee, and you're a trusted. No, right? You're just these people wronged me, burn them to the ground. I'm suing everybody. Again and again and again. And then everyone else is like, oh, I never heard of that coffee shop. Must be pretty good. She went there repeatedly until they asked her not to film. Let's go support that coffee shop, right? You are great anti-marketing. Then you're like, give me a slice of the business I tried to ruin. Doesn't work that way.
I would look at people from time to time on social media, window watching, and it made me jealous. Why should she have all of these likes? I remember having that mindset when I was like 25 years old. I'm so happy I grew out of it, and I don't feel that way about people anymore because I'm happy.
That's what we're watching. This crash out over the last 5 months. However, February is when she lost her accounts. March, April, May, June, 4 months. 4 months of crash out of like, I don't care about what did she just say after this one? Because it was like, you know what I mean? Time-wise, this is June 19th. She went out, was in an Uber, and like, I lost 1 million followers. I'm so big. I'm 1 million. I'm like trying to get that back because that's like my entire personality. Glad you grew beyond that, Adrielle. Glad your sense of worth isn't tied up in your social media following or anything.
Being confident in myself. For being in my small hometown, and a jealous person at my gym even targeted me. It was ridiculous. He stopped me dead in the middle of my run, scared the shit out of me. I almost fell off of the treadmill while I was running, and it criticized my.
Why did Sonny Hayes come back to F1? You say he was old. He not that old.
I never should have pulled you into this. Three laps in a lifetime.
F1 the movie, only in theaters and IMAX.
Shorts, my gym shorts. Come on. You know, there's at least 30 other young women in here, younger than
criticizing people, especially women, working out, what they're wearing. Yeah, no, right? At the same time, have we seen what Adriel wears on camera to entice 13-year-old boys in? And someone felt the need to be like, put some shorts on. Maybe don't run, right? In nothing. Maybe don't be naked on the treadmill. And she's like, they just interrupted my run to tell me to like not film OnlyFans content in the tanning bed. What even is this?
me, in much better shape than me, with shorter shorts than me. I know these small town people were specifically singling me out because they were jealous. And it feels so nice to live in a bigger city where people aren't jealous. But for the majority, it's nothing to the scale of the problems people were causing me in my small hometown. So funny because they stalk, they lurk, they watch me.
As a sister of somebody, friends of other people's sisters, generally not friends myself because it's the personality type that I repulsed from, of like people who do walk into a room and attract all of the attention and they're just like, would you like a flight on my private jet? Would you like 5 free vacations? How about some 5-star meals? And like those people walk through life like that's how everyone walks through life. Like, why don't you just eat the 5 free meals that are offered to you? Just take a private jet to your minimum wage job. And it's like, because that's not how the world works for the rest of us. Horseshoe blonde shit. Like I can't. Adriel pretends that's her life. At no point has that been her life. She's like, look at my really expensive rental. That's what? Like, you're begging for money. Small town bullshit. Sorry, my point of that was that if she was actually the kind of personality she's claiming, had the ability to become an influencer in that same way, it wouldn't matter that she's in Pittsburgh because everyone would be jealous and she wouldn't be living her entire life. Like Tirza doesn't walk around. Who's all jealous of me? They just are to the degree that they're jealous of her. She has to deal with that. Well, she has a horseshoe up her ass. It's like, right. And less so because it happens in your 20s. Not so much in your 40s. Time progresses, children grow up, women stop being sexual objects. So the more we cater to being a sexual object and create our entire platform, personality, marriage, whatever, on that, without the understanding it's going away, and we don't fix society for every woman, from the newborns to the elderly, who can't just spin their hair and shake their butt and get, right, their rent paid. Neither can you, Adriel. So important you know that.
At least 100 of them obsessively. They feel, what's the word, emasculated, inferior. They feel inferior. I make them feel inferior because there's no job opportunities. And seeing an entity like me, who is able to start from ground zero, work their way up, become successful solely on their own, makes them angry because they weren't able to achieve that. But what I'm trying to say is, if you ever set off on social media and you just so happen to be in a small town, you're going to be the talk of that town. You're going to be the obsession of that town. You're going to become a target while you're living in that town. Because people who are jealous mob up together and their behavior escalates into dangerous behaviors. I'll never forget my last month living in Jamestown, New York. Got to the point where even my neighbor across the street who disliked me because of my TikTok, even the neighbor across the street who disliked me was not comfortable. They were scared for me. They were scared for my kids. They were at one point cussing him out And this crazy mob of people would hang out in the alley waiting for me to either exit my house or get home. And at one point, the lady like told them all to get the hell out. And this is when it escalated so bad when we knew we all had to.
Is like that, right? Where it's like confusing. What part of this is social media drama and neighbors, and what part is because you fucking put your son on social media with your 1 million followers, claiming he was the victim when like the internet can suss out the truth pretty easily. You're still right. He's the victim. He is the victim of having you as a mother. And being an entitled asshat who hasn't been taught, it sounds like, to not be an entitled asshat. And good luck with both of your futures in that case. For a little bit left of this watch, then we're going to watch Allie's story from the other day. Well, she's got the sniffles, because those white supremacist people are always hilarious when they're sick. They're like, yeah. Anyway,
Move, and I'm glad we did. I say people were jealous of me in my hometown. I'm not being condescending. I don't think I'm better than them. System is broken. It's designed to work against you. But if you can work around those caveats and find your true calling, life will get better. And if you truly don't like where you live, never be afraid to just move out. Sometimes I'm thinking, small town people, they just like it. They like it. They like that life. Personally, I think I truly would be my best version of myself. Born in Australia, or Brighton, England, happy where I am for now. And I like it here a lot. I just really hope all of you could adopt this philosophy that change alone is unchanging and life should be full of changes. Every time a change is presented in front of you, don't resist it. Go with the flow and evolve with change.
because that's what she's doing, right? Her TikTok platform got removed. She just goes with the flow. When her platform gets removed, when her GoFundMe isn't as successful, she doesn't attack these companies like they're her employer and owe her HR benefits. No. She just goes with the flow, accepts everything as it comes. She takes ownership of all the shit she's no, not at all. Yeah, if only she took this philosophy on.
Find success at the end of opportunities. Don't ever look at yourself as a failure, and especially, please, never look at your.
Oh, dear God. This is what happens if you can never look at yourself as a failure. If you're not allowed to fail, you're such a horrible person. If you fail, you become an Adriel. You become an Allie. Don't ever look at yourself as a failure. It was a success that you brought your son's fight to online, even though it destroyed your life and you've taken no ownership of it. No, you failed. You failed your son. You failed as a mother that day. And you still not, it makes you fail as a mother day in and day out because you need this to be your career. Well, it doesn't pay the bills. You DoorDash yourself 2 burritos, eating them in front of the camera that no one asked for. Well, your son wants a steak and I can't. Worst parenting, worst influencer, longest crash out.
Yourself as a failure when you see someone like me succeed through rough times. I really wish a lot of jealous people who are blinded by hate could just pull that blindfold off of them for a few seconds. You have a purpose. You have meaning. Don't get lost in the sauce, give up on yourself, and hate on other people who are doing better than you, because you can be just as good as they are. Really what's gotten me.
Right? The better than. We can't all be Taylor Swift. Not a possibility. We can't all be millionaires. That's not how money works. We can't even all be zero heirs. We can't all be at zero. Therefore, how are we all going to be at millions, right? The MLM lie, the capitalist lie, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, work hard enough, shake your ass enough, and you can get a burrito too. Just 5 easy payments of $25.50.
To this point, making small achievements day by day. Never overwhelm yourself with large goals. Will say it feels really nice. I've just been embracing the peace and relief. This
Needs a pad designed to work for anybody. And
I was expecting there to be another sentence or two because it kind of ended abruptly, but that's how she goes. I mean, that's how I go here too, but I don't claim to be an influencer. I don't claim to be trying to make social media content. I'm the Jubilee here to create world peace. Whatever I do is creating world peace. Cutting sentences off, not having a memory, it's exactly as it's meant to be because I am who I'm meant to be. Dear God. Okay, we have he was crying alone at 1 a.m. Where was mom? That's probably a child abuse case. Certainly knowing my algorithm. Share screen. Allie from, I think also June 19th. I think we're just like on June 19th today. That was Girl in Casino, the one we just watched of Adriel, and Allie getting sick after having a friend in. Right, okay, here's the thing. People don't get sick on the plane, right? It takes time for a virus to incubate. So if you arrive and you're sick, you in fact got everyone sick on that plane, not the plane got you sick. The economics of flight, of travel, our capitalist system, and our infectious disease world that we live in a world where that's what exists. I can have a disease and I can pass it on to you. A virus, the bacteria, right? There's certain things. The airports are literal little incubation, both because we circulate air in the airplane and also right, everyone spent a lot of money to be on that flight. They're not going to not go because they're sick. Not unless someone literally stops them. Will they not go? Allie was having a friend come in from out of town. She's not going to not go, knowing she's going to get disgustingly sick and get everyone else disgustingly sick. The other people coming to that brunch are the ones who would probably make a different decision to be like, I don't want to be sick for the next 2 weeks, so I'm not going to come to your brunch. There's no way your hollandaise sauce is that good that no, someone's coming in from out of town. That sounds like a breeding ground for illness. And Allie's cooking. That's a white woman probably not washing her hands, probably taking shits off of balconies, almost certainly. We're getting people mixed up on the channel. Right? Like all of the economics into infectious disease that people need to work for a living. So they go to work, where you go to work more often than not when you're sick, minimum wage jobs making food for people because you need to be able to eat, and so do your children. That we have a system of spreading infectious disease. It's our employee, it's our workforce, it's our brunches, which is what white women are trying to get to through the revolution, right? Yes. If we need to be in Paris on Tuesday and New York on Wednesday and feel entitled to 24-hour global travel with not a moment to let a virus take hold, i.e. we don't have quarantine. We're asking for the next pandemic that will be much more deadly than the previous one. We're an infectious disease species. We used to have quarantine when we traveled on ships that was much slower. Now we're just like 50,000 people in a stadium? Absolutely. What could go wrong? Everything, constantly. Where are we?
No, I'm so sick. One of my friends came in town last week. That's part of why I had that brunch. And right when she got here, when she was like, I think I got sick on the plane. And I was like, no. And now I'm pretty sure almost everyone who came is sick. And I haven't been sick since last summer when I got cat scratch fever. That was so weird. Like, that was so fucking weird when that happened. But infections are no joke. I learned so much about infections last year when that happened. Anyways.
Weird. So, by having an infection, something that spiked your fever for a tiny period of time, right? Like a summer is a long time in your life, but like for people with chronic illness, that isn't that long, right? 2 months of having an infectious, right? Not infectious, like unless a cat scratched her and scratched someone else, no one else is catching cat scratch fever from her. She can be as horribly hygiene as she wants. No one else is catching that from her. What was my point? What did she just say? What did she just say that I was pausing for? This is going to take forever. We're at the end of my break.
But infections are no
joke. She became an expert on infections. This is the issue with our entire medical system, is the doctors considered the expert. The person who went to medical school and has never experienced what they are diagnosing people with or the medications they are prescribing to people, in concert with the people who are actually experts on every single disease, people who've been through infectious disease, right? Again and again, themselves, who have, who's real children with immune compromised children, those parents, impeccable at infectious disease, not shitting off balconies, not washing their hands and cooking for other people. Like, they're not going to be doing those things because they understand. Allie, right, is like, and the last time I experienced having a fever, the world hasn't been sick. This is the entitlement of Tirza Allie of like, when they're sick, the world collapses, right? This is finally what it actually is to be disabled for a tiny period of time. Meanwhile, though, just that expertise of like living through a condition gives you expertise that a doctor can never have. And until they can own that piece of it, they truly can never have it. The idiot, when I was pregnant, he was like, I'm giving birth to 1,000 babies. No, the fuck you haven't, sir. Unless I'm completely misunderstanding your anatomy. And even then, no, because even if you were a woman in front of me, 1,000 babies? No.
Joke. I learned so much about infections last year when that happened. Anyways. Oh my god, I'm in so much pain. I hate when people get sick when they travel, and like that, and there's nothing they can do. Like, she's out of town. Like, oh my god. Anyways, I'm gonna rest. But I took those videos about Flawed Villain down. Because I saw a lot more of what she said. And I don't know. I feel way better now that I took them down, because I still stand by everything I said in those videos, and I need to make videos about like the whole proximity to whiteness thing. And
I know this is just future faked content, like everything else is future fake content with you, but like, please do. Please make videos on proximity to whiteness. The ones who repost are already bad enough. I can only imagine your take out of your mouth, because yeah, these people, Rachel and Cloth, whatever one we watched earlier, we're gonna watch Rachel and Cloth on Juneteenth because horrible, as horrible as the minute one earlier.
decentering whiteness, because it's just absolute BS delusion. But I don't want to be tied to the Flawed Villain at all. I don't want to defend her. I don't like a lot of her content. I like some of it. Some of it is good, and I think she's bringing like her own spin on these topics. But anybody who's saying that all men are terrible and like having kids is a humiliation ritual, and like while men are literally keeping our country safe right now, like we need men and
I want you to get real specific. Which men are keeping America safe right now? The ICE agents? Trump? Elon? Who the fuck is keeping America safe? Do you feel safe? Brock Turner? Is he keeping America safe?
And women, you idiots. Anyways, and I'm sure there's a lot of awesome women keeping our country safe as well. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying people who are on the front lines right now, that's what I was referring to. Like, we sit here and talk about how men are so horrible when so many men died for us to have the freedom we have.
Oh, you mean overseas, the soldiers fighting for Elon and Trump's millions and billions, not for your freedom or safety. Just like you made up a boogeyman about me and I've never been a threat. I've never been a threat to you. You're an absolute threat to me. You're a threat to America's freedom of safety. The lie that the American soldier is in any way helping America's freedom and safety is the same lie that Israel is helping Israel's safety. No, they're causing more trauma and more enemies. While claiming they're fighting for freedom, what they're fighting for is the billionaires' bank accounts. War. The shareholders of the war companies that make landmines and guns and tanks and more of them and more money this quarter than last quarter. Heaven forbid we feed people. Heaven forbid, because that is what we're going to do. We're going to feed people. We're going to have an army of feeding people.
Here in America and women in our armed forces. Oh my god, I can't even talk. Anyways, oh my god, and the cold sore. The cold sore in the videos was making me so mad. So, anyways, I took those down and I feel way better. But I am gonna explain what I think about this whole white supremacy stuff and freaking all of that in future videos and just make those points again, but without flawed villain involved. And I think it's weird when anyways, it doesn't matter. Oh my god, I can't talk. Did you know that white people are only about 16% of the global population?
Stupid facts with Allie. Facts that are facts and do not have the like, oh my god, that she thinks they do. Okay, what do you think that means, Allie? Did you think we were the majority? What does whiteness come from? How were you created, Allie? How were you created? I'm just going to throw out two countries' names for you that generally aren't associated with whiteness and are associated with large populations. China, India. Not full of white people. Now, Jubilee did not know until this last week that America is number 3, population-wise. Didn't know. I thought there was other countries ahead of America before number 3. India and China in one order and the other. They kind of flip back and forth. I don't know. Actually, they don't. One was number 1, but the other one's running. I don't know. Wherever. I think it's China and then India. And then America. But quite low down. Like America is under 500,000, under 500 million. Under 500 million. And China and India are a billion. Over a billion. But anyway, I didn't know that America was number 3 on the population list. So we're all learning new things. What I'm not going to keep, I might keep going on and saying that I didn't know that, but like, I don't need everyone else to change their worldview and start propping up white people who've been propped up the entire fucking time. And what do you think the term, isn't it like global majority, referring to non-white people? Have you just never heard of that term? Like the global majority. We're demographically the minority with a ridiculous amount of money and power. Overrepresented, underrepresented in the prison population, considering how many fucking crimes we commit, and overrepresented in the CEO population, in the billionaire population. Way more than 18% of billionaires are pale as fuck.
Population. What? That's crazy, dude. That's actually crazy. Okay. Also, the internet is very scary right now. The world is very scary right now. So, maybe I should use this time to not look at the internet for a while and reset my brain, because what's going on in the world is absolutely wild, and there's so many different opinions, and you don't.
Ellie got the sniffles from the brunch, so she's just going to turn off her phone and ignore Israel bombing Iran, Iran retaliating, the genocide that's been going on for a year and a half, and she's used to ignoring that, so no problem. I'm just going to turn it off and ignore that there's... Go ahead. We're going to create world peace, and you're going to help.
Don't know who to... It's just a lot. But... anyways, there's a lot of people in the world dealing with a lot worse than a horrible summer cold or whatever this is. Oh my god.
There are, in fact. There's people in this household who are dealing with worse things than Allie Priestley's summer cold from Allie Priestley's, this individual's specific action in mine and my kid's life, right? There's people all over the world, because you're international, Allie the villain, right? Who are dealing with the repercussions of you and your actions that are worse off than your fucking cold or your cat scratch fever, right? Yeah. And there are people all over the world who are experiencing genocide and war and famine and things that are not beyond our control to help with. When we wait for the fucknut billionaires to solve it, when their entire money and ego are wrapped up in not solving it and pinning us all against each other, and the Allie Priestleys are their talking point, talking for them or their spokespeople. Our brave soldiers going to fight for Elon so we can make more billions. Great. I think we're done with this, are we? I don't know.
My throat hasn't hurt like this in a really long time. Anyways, it makes me grateful that I have pretty good health a lot of the time, despite all of my health issues. Like, I've done so much to change my life in that way, and I support my body a lot most of the time, so it's okay. I would love to try to like sleep for a couple days. I wish I was a person who could do that. Like, my body cannot turn off like that. I wish I was somebody who could do that. I can't do that unless I'm like heavily medicated, and then you pay for it in other ways. Like, if you knock yourself out with meds or any substance, then you pay for it later. So I'll stick to my edibles, but good thing I got ivermectin.
Which I can't, is something that has been used the world over for malaria, for many things, is one of the safest medications that the idiots in charge decided was illegal and not okay, and was only veterinarian for a while, and now the white supremacists are like stockpiling it, taking it every day like it's fucking vitamin C, and like feeling like they got one over on the viruses that, like, I can't. Living in a pristine, clean environment and taking ivermectin daily. Let's see how that works for you. We're gonna start Alpha U and the cult in the army and all the things that are gonna actually create healing for our nervous systems and the world and all of that. First, let's get rid of this completely. Don't need that up. I don't even know if I can comment on it, but we need to watch it because it goes with the other one. So again, I watched this woman live. Everything I thought I saw in this woman live, where I was like, oh, she's like a real human who like feels for people of all races. And she's just trying to like rage bait. And then people bringing up Juneteenth and me being like, she's like, I don't celebrate those people's holidays. No. Everything 20 times worse. This woman is like full blown fucking racist. Okay, let's just her take on Juneteenth, just so it's here for the history books for her great grandchildren to see. Rachel, right? Rachel McAdams. There's been other Rachels as well. Rachel starred with another Rachel in a Jewish movie. I want to call it Unblessed. That's probably not the name of it. It also came up on April 28th, and I don't think that's true. Did that one? I know Are We There? Gone with Me, Margaret came out on April 28th. I don't think that one did. What was my point? Rachel and Leah, Jacob's 2 wives in the Bible. Jacob, who had 12 sons between his 4 wives, but 2 of them aren't wives. It's complicated. One of them's his favorite, absolute favorite, gets him a special coat. His brothers sell him into slavery, setting off the patriarchy on a long journey, out of Egypt into Israel. Jacob becomes Israel. Rachel is married to Israel. Okay, now that we're there, let's hear this Rachel, an individual human in the year 2025's take on Juneteenth.
I'm just joking. Good morning. Okay, no, but for real, can we just talk about Juneteenth? Yesterday I was in my live and somebody said, what do you think of Juneteenth? And I said, what is it? Juneteenth. I said, why does it even just sound illiterate? It sounds like they're mocking. I don't know. I felt weird. I was like, Juneteenth. Anyway, I looked it up. 160 years later, we get a holiday that says free. You don't kind of think that that's like embarrassing a little bit at all in any way, shape, or form? Because if they actually cared about like love and justice and they like cared about how far y'all have come, they'd be fixing the school to prison pipeline. They'd be handling CPS and all the kidnappings. They'd be actually looking for these kids that they label runaways at the age of 16. They'd be fixing, just the school systems in general. Instead, they give you a holiday, a day off, and a cake that says you're free. Does that make you feel loved and supported?
This entire thing is like the white people gave you a cake and said it's free and it's an illiterate holiday and the timestamp's 110. Does that make maybe, and here's just a little bit of a clue for you, Rachel, the holiday has fuck all to do with you. Doesn't need your permission. Doesn't need you involved in any fucking way.
Seen, heard? Because I don't think so. To me, it looks like it's just a giant mockery. Anyway.
And she's not wrong. Her version is a giant mockery. And then she made it and then critiqued the giant mockery that she made. Oh, look at the white woman.
I'm just joking. Good morning.
Coming in entitled, literally, TikTok every time. It's a white woman. It's like, center more. Okay. We're ending the broadcast here. Since we didn't have a chat today, I might be back tomorrow for a chat. Sometimes I need to keep the talking on Saturday morning to 2 hours, which is what I do for every other conversation, but I forget because I'm like the broadcast for 4 hours. I can't talk for 4 hours. All right. Thanks for hanging out. We're creating an army that's actually here to serve one another and create world peace. Not the lie of every army around the world for all of time that somehow we're fighting on the side of good and right. And those evil people are trying to murder all your children and women. Good thing God's going to help us murder their... What are we doing? An army of people here to serve, here to create food for one another and live lives not of poverty, but of abundance. Coming alive for and with one another. Not the horrificness of the Catholic Church and a vow of celibacy that we know what happens there. People able to join up, get food, clothing, shelter, and purpose. Opt out of the current system and into one they're helping design, one that works for them because they're helping design their own life. And the systems that help us be autonomous individuals in autonomous villages in an autonomous world, working with one another. No fucking idiot Trumps going to war from their inauguration day, annexing Canada and Greenland. Like the rest of us can wake the fuck up and be like, right, those idiot sociopaths don't represent us. They represent made up nations, made up groups we didn't agree to be part of. And if we can't agree to be part of a group, we can't be part of it. And that's not true. There's parts we're part of that we didn't agree to join. But like, understanding the barrier, that's the wrong word, the permeability of a group. What is a group? How does one join? Can one leave without like all the projection from the outside? Well, I'm going to be a nation state for a moment, so I'm Canadian, and I'm going to deal with you as whatever your nation state is. Oh, wait, that's inconvenient to me. Canada's done some shit. So right now I'm a woman, and women have experienced some shit. And like, no, I'm a woman. Like, it's like all of us, individuals with unique journeys, in order to get more from us, we need to be given more. Not narcissistic, all the oxygen in the room, mine. Actually, what would help you in your life? Probably an end to capitalism. So that is what we're doing, because capitalism is like literally a self-terminating prophecy. Use all the resources, pretend there's profit, while not owning in any way. What the fuck is profit? What the fuck is money? Literally nobody seems to understand what it is. Not like the people in charge who create the money don't understand, which is why the Elizabeth Holmes of the world and the Stockton Rushes exist, because you can become a billionaire with $1 billion company on a delusional idea and have everyone blow smoke up your fucking ass and tell you what a brilliant person you are. And then everyone is telling you you're murdering people, yourself possibly included, right? Like, no, those people get fired. And like the amount, and we work too, the amount that the people in charge of business, which runs our entire world, showcase they don't understand business. They don't understand the ones and zeros. They don't understand tariffs and taxes. The thing they're in charge of. And then everyday people just understand you don't have enough money in your bank account. There used to be money for things that there now isn't money for, and food has gone up. We're going to create an army of food. Instead of the lowly of the lowly do the fooding, do the picking of the food in the fields and the making of it, and it's paid minimum wage, and we're all going to participate. Growing, cooking, all of it, wherever you are in life, you spend a certain amount of time, energy on food. You work for a living, or if you might get disability like I do. There's a certain amount of time and energy you put into your food. And if you work for money and exchange energy and time for money, there's a certain amount of that you put into your food and buying it. I do, in fact, have to buy food. It's really expensive. And I put in a lot of energy into making my meals, which are now meal kits at the moment, because it's what my mind can do, which are more expensive than really almost even restaurant food. I, therefore, am spending a lot of money on food and a lot of energy. When I was at co-housing, I was spending less money and less energy on food because we were doing it collectively together. That is what we are tapping into, the collective together. What you currently spend on food can be brought down and you can eat better. And so can everyone else. If what you need is for everyone else to be Adrielle and have everyone else pay for your food, and you never touch a dish, never do right, you're not invited. Exchanging time for food, exchanging money for food, and they're not seen of as less than or worse than. We all need to eat. We all participate in the food system. Anyway, so I'm working on, well, we're not working on it. It's all here on this channel. We are creating the people who want to create that. Not Scientology billion-year sign up for. What the fuck does Scientology do? What are you signing up for a billion years? Actually, we're going to refurbish old hotels. We're going to buy things. We're going to like create shelter, grow food, live purpose. The purpose being to create more of that. The only MLM that makes sense, the only self-perpetuating, whatever it's called. What bacteria do? Grow in a petri dish. Exponential growth. What every cult before has tried to tap into with the lie. The lie of a world after this one, heaven after earth. And the lie of many cults of like, we're going to create heaven here on earth. We're actually going to do it. How are you going to know it? You're going to feel it and be in it. Even right now on this channel, does it feel like you're in world peace in the world? Maybe not. But the hope and the possibility of what the Creator has laid before us has actually given us the opportunity to create with solution raising, with peer coaching, with WeWeave, with VACA. What is possible from where we are is a tiny few people waking up to the delusion of Netanyahu and Trump and Iran, and that nation states exist and we're pitting them against each other. We can just declare peace as individuals. I refuse to go to war with Iran, with Israel, with America. I refuse to be a Canadian going to war with any nation state. We're already in a global economy. We're already in a global philosophy, religion, political system. We already know individuals across borders and religions. And they're coming for all of us. Whoever they is, like literally ICE agents are going into your neighbors' houses and dragging them out. And there's the people who are like, yay, good, thank you for taking those criminals out. Those people who have lived here for 30 years. Our individual relationships is what we need to cultivate and what we need to actually interweave. Every story, every person, not an influencer with 1 million people following them and wondering where they should buy their fucking mascara, but actually, like if we need mascara, whatever, people like mascara, what's the best one? Not Adrielle, what's the best one? Because she's going to fucking lie to you. Like, right? Friends and family, what's the best one? How do we make the best one? What makes it the best one, right? We can do much better in a cooperative because we have the same incentive. We want the product to last. We want it to be a good product. We want it to have good ingredients. We want to be able to use what we create. When you're a worker, you need the business to remain and you need the product to be sold for as much as possible so you can make a profit, which means you have to believe it's not going to murder people. It's a good thing to make this product. We're good guys for making this thing. The only ones that the only incentive that doesn't break is a user incentive, is for us to create corporations, create the means of production where it isn't the billionaires selling it to the unwashed masses. It's the unwashed masses, but not communism. We're confiscating it, having a violent revolution. Now, day 2, here's quotas for everyone. Doesn't work. Human's human. We need actual tap into our ingenuity, volunteerism. What do you want to contribute? How do we help each other contribute? That is what the idea of Alpha U is, the youth doing that with and for each other. Creating, not going to university and creating a job for themselves. That world does not exist. It basically never did, but it definitely doesn't exist now. They know that. The alphas know that. The younger generation knows. Even if they can't articulate it, they know there is something very broken about the world they've been born into. And they're being raised to contribute to without being listened to, without realizing, like, the sky's falling, everyone. No, we're all just going to pretend the sky's not falling. Cool. I'm just going to go to university, get $1 million student loan to go become like literally all of our professions that used to be well-paying, lawyer, doctor, aren't, because of the amount of money you have to pay to go to school to do that, and then the overhead to be a business to run that. Whereas the people trading zeros and ones on the screen, offering nothing to the universe, like they're really not contributing anything. They're just trading and they're gambling. They're the ones who make money. And so creating an army of people who want to create purpose, who want to create the technology, food, shelter, and technology, that company, and the workforce, a religion, because fuck capitalism. That's the religion. And you don't even have to believe fuck capitalism to come join it. You can be in capitalism, because you are. We all are. We can't not use the capitalism. Money exists. Nations exist. We're living in the world we live in while creating the world we want to live in, the lives we want to live, individually, in villages, collectively. I don't know if that made any sense, but it doesn't need to. It eventually will make sense to the right people. I love it, but like it's like I've been diagnosed with delusional disorder. One of the symptoms is grandiose, and I was like, this was grandiose a decade ago when I said I knew how to save the world, right? And like I could see a decade ago with all the other people who could possibly, I didn't know them yet, but like who knew how to save the world. I could see their lives decay, and like, right, because this isn't a business, this isn't a relationship, this is a life's purpose. There's no failing at your life's purpose. There's no failing at being you. I am the Jubilee. I'm not going to stop being the Jubilee. There is no failure at it. I will keep going until we're in world peace or I'm not breathing. Then I saw that a decade ago, and to my friends and family were like, so if you don't, come break it. Break the technological user cooperative. Show me how this doesn't save our species, or I'm going to need to save our species. Do you know how to save our species? No? Do you think anyone knows how to save our species? The answer is like, no, no one does. It's grandiose and delusional to think you do. Do you know how it's delusional to think nobody does? Well, you're waiting to chug along in the system that's murdering us all. That's delusional. That's just use all the resources. Whoever uses them the fastest and most, the biggest pile of gold, breathing fire at each other, we win. We're the winningest. Do you feel like you're winning? Create something that's actually winning, that is youth working for each other, right? Creating not a job after graduation, but like, what does life look like? What do you need? What skills do you need? What, like, working on projects together and meeting people. That's the university. That's the corporation. That's the religion. That's all of it. Working with people, whether that's a conversation here on this channel, whether we're creating a garden, whatever we're doing, working with people in consensual relationships. We're already in somewhat consensual relationships. We're just not aware. Sorry, we're really not. We're not aware of how unconsensual our relationships are. But we're also grown-ass adults with agency. And once we're aware of how unconsensual our relationships are, we can make them fucking consensual. And we can't be in a relationship with anyone or anything properly, truly, unless we can also not be in that relationship. If we're not allowed to divorce, we can't be in a marriage. Truly. Because he or she could do absolutely fucking anything, and you have to stay. They're not expected to love, honor, cherish in any way, shape, or form if there's no divorce. To be able to give each other, all of humanity, the option to stay or go in your religion, in your family, in your profession, in everything that might be meaningful to you. not narcissist. What do you mean? I don't have a past. Everyone in my past is horrible and villainous. Those people will become obvious and they won't be able to run from their history. Those of us who actually learn and grow from our history will also be obvious. Being able to judge each other on the moment of time we meet for, you can't have someone's entire journey in that moment. Know everything. All we can do is project our journey onto them. Like Josh does to every mother on the internet, right? Is his alcoholic mother who was mean to him, and all women are paying the price for his alcoholic mother. We're all doing that on repeat a lot. Like, who are we projecting on what and whom? We're storytellers running around the drama triangle on a global scale that looks different, but doesn't look that different. Super easy once you hear the like double speak of Ali Priestley to hear the double speak of Israel and Netanyahu. They're the same. The future faking, the I'm the hero, the like getting into the, what do you mean by that? Let's have a conversation. No one's talking about this. Different levels of the same thing. And the solution is villages for everyone. The solution is a technological user cooperative we all own and operate together that empowers us as individuals, that accommodates our disabilities, unleashes humanity on humanity's problems. A tiny army, I don't know what else to call this, but a tiny army of people dedicated to not fight the system, not march in the street and rah, tear it down. Concentrate day 2 of the revolution. Fuck you, idiots in charge, your naked dick swinging everywhere. Create lives we want to live. Traditions we want to live. While healing our planet, doing the physical work, growing mushrooms, growing the things that actually making water systems that work, dealing with the reality we're biological systems on a biological planet. And we all need water and clean air and food. And we all do a lot better in bodies that aren't traumatized from birth and then inflict that trauma on one another. Creating childhoods for each other that aren't centered on trauma. And pretending that trauma doesn't exist for children when it seems to be our shared collective patriarchal trauma. Because those who were the most traumatized were the most sociopathic and went and pushed that sociopathic white supremacy Christianity on everybody else. Not Jesus's love thy one another, treat each other with no, don't listen to the man you're shoving down everyone's throat. Make more money, enslave people. All right, I'm going to end this here, which I've been doing for the last 15, 20 minutes. Thanks for, coming to my whatever this last 15, 20 minutes was. And thanks for coming to the whole thing. And I'll see you probably tomorrow, if I can end the stream.